good evening, and good afternoon to all the geeks out there, and I will gentlemen, welcome to another Geek-Inspired Podcast. For the first time ever, I've said it right. Cheers.
Yes, all the way through. Well done.
Okay, so, yes, we're here with the one.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Zaffa.
In case you weren't here, I would be the stand-in Grant Hinds.
Oh, it's pink.
Discount Grant Hinds.
So you Grant Hinds 2018.
18? Yeah.
Right, so,
I like it.
live on stream,
Low cost
apparently.
cosplay.
So live on stream, we have two Grant Hindses. We have Grant Hinds, the original, in
Number
yellow
one.
hair.
Okay.
And the pink hair that's disappeared now. Oh, wait, it's back again. It's back again.
It's a freaking tutu, okay?
Down below.
Ingenuity.
Human ingenuity at its finest, yeah. That's what we know Salon for.
One, the only Grant Hinds to our right. Welcome, Grant. How are you doing this evening?
Hey everybody, what's good? What's good, fam?
Awesome. Right below us, we have ZaffaGeek, who is going to be our other interviewer today, because Kez is feeling a little bit unwell and she can't very well, so she's not going to do it. So below us, ZaffaGeek, welcome to the stream once again.
Thank you for having me back. I am ZaffaGeek, and I don't have a beard anymore.
Yeah, you'll notice his beard is
It's getting
taller
there.
than mine.
It's getting there.
I
One day
reckon
soon.
you got a
On the bottom
beard.
right, left-hand side, I think it is. Left-hand side is Tunes, the other host.
Yes, hello. The other host.
The other host. I can go other host, but that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so we're going to start the stream asking Grant a few intimate questions.
Go for it. I'm feeling intimate.
All right.
Should we put some
Fine,
Barry
you wanna
White
go-
on?
You want to go full-on intimate? I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you, dude. Not live on stream. All right. So yes, Grant, welcome to the stream. Tell us a little about yourself.
Sorry,
Tell
I've
us about
just
yourself.
followed. I realized I wasn't following. So
How
done
could
that.
you?
I'm preemptively running into this.
Anyway, Grant, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your channel and what you personally do.
Okay, so I have a Twitch channel and a YouTube channel. I'm way more excited about Twitch than I am about YouTube. I come from a live TV background, so I've been doing live TV for 2008. What's that? It's like 12 years now. Oh my goodness. So I've been doing that, and then I loved digital video. So I did digital video from 2009 to 2010, so 2 years, at a company called Zoopy, which was competing with YouTube at the time. And back then, remember, there were no like genres for content. So we have like pretty well treaded water right now, like unboxings and let's plays and all that stuff. But back then there wasn't anything like that. So it was a really exciting period of time to just be creative and work out what the mediums were and what worked. Back then there wasn't anything like that. Then that company folded because they were trying to. It was a Vodacom owned company, trying to compete directly with YouTube, which as we can, like in hindsight, it's like, what are you doing? And but that's great. But I mean, it paid me a salary for 2 years, and I got to like basically work on YouTube videos for 2 years, which is great. And then I went back into TV, got super hungry to do digital video again. I met a YouTuber. His name is Casper Lee. He's now on like 9 million subscribers or something. Jeez. Back then he was on 200,000 subscribers, and he's from Knysna. And I connected with him because I was like, yo, there's somebody in South Africa that's, popping off on YouTube. I really want to do this again. So we became friends, and I've been like making digital video ever since. I've subsequently left most of my TV work, but why I'm really into Twitch is because my TV work that was live was by far my favorite. And it's kind of like mixing the two together. And it's it's very exciting.
That's awesome.
What do you miss about TV that you don't get?
I miss like literally going on for 5 minutes and leaving. As us all streamers know, it's very different. You literally go for 5 minutes, get your money and bounce. But like on streaming, it's like, I just streamed for 6 hours before this, you know what I mean? Now we're back at streaming, like my shoulders are sore, we're doing nothing, you know. Streaming is hard work on Twitch. And I made like less. No, I made about the same amount of money that I would have done for 5 minutes of TV today.
Jesus. Jeez Louise.
So yeah. And then I would have had the whole day.
The grind is real.
The grind is real. People don't understand how hard streaming is. But the thing is, I find it fun, you know, and we talking directly to the people. When you're on TV, there are like 1 million people watching, roughly, with Breakfast TV. But the vast majority of that audience is like your moms, your tunnies, your uncles. They're like, what is happening? The whole time when you're talking, they're like, what is up? And like, I remember being stopped in a mall once. Some guy was like, Grant, you that guy from Espresso? And I was like, yes, that's me. And he said, I'm so glad I saw you. I can't sync my BlackBerry contacts to my phone. And I was just like, no, I'm like the country's tech support. So that was when I realized, I was like, hey, I need to get off of this. If I have like a fraction of that audience, but we're all into games, very different. You know what I mean? You know, we can talk about really exciting things, but anyway.
Well, speaking about how, you know, content creation takes, you know, so long, and streaming is such a grind, and, you know, sometimes you have to stream for 24 hours straight sometimes. But how do you balance all of this between, you know, everything that you do, everything you want to do, and just being alive in general?
It's okay. I'm actually doing okay. Like, streaming is mostly my full-time thing right now. So I stream full-time, and then I have a YouTube channel which brings in a lot of like the corporate stuff. So basically, when I left TV, I learned a lot about how television business works, and I kind of like applied a lot of the same techniques to digital, with proposals and going into meetings and meeting up with clients and organizing like ROIs and doing like reports and all that stuff that you would like an account manager would have to do that in an ad agency or one of the TV shows. But I was like, cool, I suppose they need to do that on YouTube as well, but if they want to spend money there, and you just make it competitive. And like, if they're willing to pay like 1,000 Rand or 2,000 Rand a video, that's good ROI actually for a lot of these guys. And it's much better spent on a small content creator than it is on like a TV show, which you might. Those TV shows don't even look at the budget unless it's like 1 million Rand. So like that's like their starting budget, and that's when I saw there was a huge gap, because there's a lot of people in the industry that don't have it. Wine farms, like Fokhof beer, like they've got money, but it's definitely not 1 million Rand. But they might have like 10 grand to spend with you. So how do you make that, you know, valuable to them? How do you make the relationship valuable to them so that they'll continue working with you? And a lot of that is like data and reports and admitting where you went wrong and having sit downs and getting to know the people behind the brand and what they want to achieve as well. So like they might have a goal where they just go like, we just need to get, they might hire you to bring people into like a brewery and go like, cool, do you want to do like a tasting and show people what that experience is like? And then you go, okay, well, I didn't even think about that. I was going to just put your logo on my live stream. And then that's more valuable to them and they'll pay for that. So that's what I do 9 to 5 pretty much. So my platforms are Instagram, TikTok now, actually. Brands are loving TikTok. Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube for the most part. Yeah.
Content creators actually started to move towards the newer, more popular kind of social medias like TikTok and things like that, because of the fact that it's actually picking up so much, you know, stride, as it were. So it's a good thing you're jumping on it as well, because it just means that, well, clearly all the content creators such as ourselves are doing the right thing. I don't know about Mr. Geek down there, but I'm glad to see that.
I don't have the time.
I'm an old man. What is this talk tech you're talking about?
84 years since I opened.
Zaffa, I think you do really well on TikTok. And also TikTok is like, it reminds me of the early stages of YouTube. A lot of people had the same ideas. They're like, oh, it's stupid. Like, I'm not going to walk around with a camera and film myself. But like, you look at YouTube, they're like thousands of different genres of content. And it's the same with TikTok. There literally is. You just got like a minute window to create whatever content you want to create, right?
Yeah.
So,
what I like about TikTok specifically is that whatever algorithm they use is not as targeted as other platforms, so it is possible for you to get a following really fast, compared to other places.
And we must utilize that now, because remember, like YouTube, everything, even on Twitch, it's like it's such a good opportunity to like the algorithm hasn't really been invented on Twitch yet. It's kind of like all over the show, and I think that's actually an opportunity for us. Like, like I think I've done pretty well over the past 6 months. Just like when I understood that there is no like formula for getting viewers on Twitch, that there are other ways to like leverage the Wild West as it is, because it's kind of still a Wild West. Whereas with YouTube, there's like a formula. Like you can get views really easily on YouTube, if you want to, because it's what do you mean? It's solidified. It's established. It's an established medium now.
Yeah. Well, it's based on search, so you can use all the tricks that search enables. Whereas Twitch is not a searchable platform, and TikTok isn't a searchable platform either. You have to use other ways. So I understand where you're coming from. But
So, and TikTok I find quite exciting. Like when you get into a whole of the kind of content that you really like photography hacks, or like I want to know what gaming content is going to look like on TikTok. We haven't made it yet. It reminds me of like back in 2008, 2009 when we were making YouTube content for gaming. We're working it out. Like the first people that I remember doing a Let's Play was a website called Giant Bomb. They're like a really famous podcast as well. Yeah. And back then they realized that if you came out first with the content, you'd get the views. So what they were doing was that they had something called a quick look. That's what they termed it, and they literally just put like they got a disc, put it in like the game, and they played like the first hour or two of the game with microphones. That is it, and they called it a quick look. That was the first Let's Plays that I'd ever seen, and they were just using like, oh, if people are searching for this game, they want to be the first people with content out. So. And like obviously Let's Plays became quite structured. They've got narratives, they've got pranks in them now, like with voice mods, and it's a very established genre on YouTube. And it's like now TikTok doesn't have that. Like we could, I think you could be famous like in a week if you wanted to, if you had a good idea, and people would go like, oh shit, that's a really good, like those are really good videos. Like I know there's a Nafisa. I don't know if you know Nafisa. She's a tech journo from Joburg, and she did a video on the Samsung Z Flip. You know the new the flip phone. She just pulled up the phone, basically showed people how it opened, kind of like a quick unboxing, but more about like how it functions and what it looks like, turning it around, showing people different sides of it that mattered. Right, had some music behind it. She got like 6 million views or something and 60,000 followers from that one video.
Jeez Louise.
Because the way you consume it, like you're watching it, you go like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and you might watch it 2 or 3 times, and you might send it to a friend because they were like, what does that look like? And you go like, oh, here it is. And also then it becomes like everybody searching for that Z Flip because they want to see what videos are. And then she's just now like filtered to the top of the search of the hashtags, and like. It really did remind me of the old days of YouTube. It was like, oh, okay, well, this is exciting, again, and I really want to kind of like double down on that.
I get it. Completely agree.
I think a lot of people just, especially older folk, just go like, oh, it's kids singing songs and dancing.
Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer.
Well, I mean,
okay,
for every
boomer.
platform, it's something like that. You know, YouTube at one point was just cat videos, and that's what it was known for.
And then everybody sees it from what it is like right now. But those people, like, you go to the company, if you go to a TikTok office, I haven't been, but I can guarantee you what it's like. They have got metrics, they've got targets to meet, they've got to get many people watching, they've got to identify different genres, they've got to grow the platform, they've got to cultivate talent. So they literally pay some of those content creators to continue making content for them, you know, and they can see like trends. Oh, this is picking up. Oh, that's cool. These challenges are interesting. You know, like these are being consumed a lot, and like they like it's again like YouTube early days, like that stuff is just going to evolve until we're using TikTok like Reddit at some, you know what I mean, or whatever it becomes.
All right, so this is a bit odd. Interviewers don't generally get asked questions in our streams. Zaffa, apparently GRT Susie, Great Susie, just wants to know what your vision for the future of your stream is, and also how long does he plan to do this for. However, we're gonna do this two-sided. Zaffa, you're gonna answer. Grant, I also want an answer from you, because that's a damn good question.
But it's also one of our for you anyway.
Yes.
She put me on the spot there.
Zaffa, I think maybe, yeah. Okay, Zaffa, go, and then we'll hit Grant with it as well.
Okay, Great Susie. My vision for the channel is I really want to push my average viewer concurrent viewership to at least above 60 to 70 before the end of the year. That's why I'm doing the whole Final Fantasy thing, and I'm gonna do it until my legs break from age and rheumatitis. What's it called?
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Arthritis, yes. Until my legs break from arthritis. That's when I'll stop, essentially.
Grant, same question.
Grant, same question.
It's okay, so it's difficult. It's like I don't know if streaming is going to be good for me full time going forward. And the main reason is with other kinds of digital content, that content stays. Like it's there. If whether I'm online or not, it's still generating money. It still exists. There's a library of content. If a brand wants to go have a look at stuff, there is access to it. Whereas when I'm streaming live, you're only as good as your last live stream. You're only as relevant as if I stop streaming for a week, I don't make money, number one, and number two, like you might have a drop off of viewers for the next stream.
Use momentum.
And it's so like the sustainability of streaming is tough. That's why I try to look at like my business as a holistic business. Like it can't just be one platform. Also, like if Twitch goes bust, I'm fucked. Like if that's my center point. So it's like TV. If SABC goes back, like SABC went bankrupt in 2007, and I started. I don't know if you remember that. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
I was working in the TV industry. We were called into like a massive meeting, and everybody's salaries would drop by like 75% or something. So, and it was because all of our shows were being pitched to SABC because it was easy. We knew a commissioning editor, whoever was on accounts. They pitched a whole bunch of shows. They got like 5 or 6 shows signed off, and it was only in one broadcaster. So we never worked with ETV. We never worked with MultiChoice. We never like spent time developing these products for other service providers. So because we had all our eggs in one basket, it collapsed. And I have the same fear with broadcasting and going like, what happens if YouTube collapses? Like I'm screwed. That's why I don't stream to YouTube. I stream to Twitch. I think Twitch, and also Twitch was kind of a challenge. It's like it's a little bit, it's different from YouTube. And like the kind of content I can keep on YouTube is different. But if YouTube explodes one day, I've still got my Twitch thing. If Twitch explodes, I've got my YouTube thing. If they both explode, I've got like other social media stuff that I can do. And if we all get COVID and become the apocalypse, at least like I know how to probably wield a weapon. But like,
that's Grant bringing his own humor in there.
so like that's how I've seen it. So yeah, like it's I don't know what my future is going to be. I thoroughly enjoy Twitch. And I would love to see like a season of me just grafting and watching like we just got partnered, which is really exciting. And like there's only like space to go forward, but I know that stuff is fleeting as well. So like I know that it might be like that for a month and then it goes away, or it might be like that for 6 months.
Just a quick thing on that partnership. A lot of Twitch streamers that I know that got partnered. The moment they got partnered, they all thought like, hey, okay, I got partnered. I can continue on as I usually do, they were all wrong. They all
Yep.
tell me this is when the work begins. Up until that point, you didn't really work.
It's literally like you got a job promotion, right? It feels like that. You got a job. You make a little bit of extra money from your subs or whatever, but then you go like, okay, well now I've got to maintain all these viewers. like it didn't. You graft so hard to get the concurrent viewers and all the like things, and then you go, we climb to the top of the hill, and then you just realize there's a whole nother path ahead of you, going like. Okay, I've got to make sure that I get 200 concurrent viewers, and that the people I'm squad streaming with are like, I'm not the baby in the group that I'm squad streaming with. I got to grow up here, and also then you're trying, like, I'm already doing the fitness thing. I'm trying to like I'm putting a lot of effort and energy into my streams. But yeah, it actually doesn't really mean anything. The only thing, I just wish that all those features were open to everybody, because it's kind of stupid that they aren't. It reminds me of a Twitter verification tick. Like it literally doesn't do anything. The only difference is you get like a new tab called verification, which literally just filters everybody that's verified that interacts with your stuff. But like so few people interact with my stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm not gonna miss anyone. So like,
exactly the whole case.
Yeah, maybe if you got like tens of thousands of like interactions, like it matters. But like, I don't know. It's a weird. It is a thing. It's like you just got to carry on grafting, and it's like when you're working in a company, and we take this seriously. Like all of us are streamers, so we take this very seriously. This is our career.
Yeah.
Just because you got the tick that doesn't matter. I'm still doing the job that I love. That job doesn't change. The job continues to stay the same. I say this thing with YouTube all the time. All these kids that come up to me and they go like, "Oh man, I want to be famous. I want to have a YouTube channel. How do I become just like Casper? Come on, tell me. You got to go to the secrets." And I was like, "Do you enjoy editing video? Do you enjoy it? Like, is that it's all like?" And they go like, "No, not really. But maybe." And I was like, "Then you're not going to enjoy this, because if you can't edit video for like 10 people to watch, you're going to hate editing video for 1 million people to watch. Trust me." Like. And also, it's not just about editing. It's about like, if you find somebody and you got 1 million subscribers to edit your videos for you, you're going to be directing. You're going to be sitting there making sure that content is pristine, that you're working the algorithm, that it's going to have the highest watch time, that your thumbnails are legit. If you don't enjoy the work, it doesn't matter how many people are watching or how many subscribers you have or how much money you're making, you're going to hate doing it.
Exactly.
We do this job because we like doing it. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
The only editing I do is the first 5 seconds of the video and the last 5 seconds of the video that I cut. That is it.
Pro tips. Professional.
It's like,
professional.
I know how to edit this video. I just edit the quiet bits.
Okay, but before we get to that one, right? Grant, okay. It's Star Wars Day, guys. As you can see, we're all wearing, well, Kez and I are wearing our Star Wars stuff. Kez is Princess Leia, I'm wearing my Stormtrooper. So, Grant, Zaffa, since you're both in here. Okay, firstly, Grant, your favorite Star Wars movie, which one is it?
Show you something. Let me just show you something.
Okay, well, in that case, Zaffa
mine gave me the VHS tapes.
What?
Oh!
Yeah.
What?
VHS. Look at this.
Oh shit, dude, that's the original shit.
I think one of them is sealed.
Editing.
The VHS.
And they've been on my shelf. I can't watch them, of course, because like
how do you
I
know?
don't have a VHS player. This is sealed.
Yo,
Sealed it.
it's gonna be worth something one day.
It was sealed.
Plastic wrap.
Wow, that is so awesome.
Like, this has got to be worth. If anybody out there knows what this is worth, let me know.
Let Grant
I'll
know.
put this back with, like,
This might be Grant's retirement sitting on your shelf.
Sorry. I actually haven't opened them properly because I'm too scared to. I didn't realize how like. Nerd cred, guys.
Dude, you are such a nerd, and that's awesome. Those are the originals. Those are unedited versions of Star Wars. When I say unedited, I mean Lucas didn't come in and fuck everything up. Pristine. But it still doesn't answer the question. What is your favorite Star Wars? Which episode of Star Wars is your favorite?
Rogue One.
Pretty neutral. So that's nicely like set right like that.
You know what I like about Star Wars? It's not necessarily the story. The story is cool, right? Whatever. But I really like the planets that they go to. All I want to see is like a crazy amount of.
I agree.
Like Return of the Jedi, sweet, we're in a forest. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Freaking Endor, dude.
Forest
Endor.
planet,
Who did
yeah.
not Endor?
Endor is cuck, man. No one wants to go to Endor.
I
Not
love
Endor.
Endor was the best planet, man.
Zaffa.
Zaffa, your favorite Star Wars?
My favorite Star Wars movie is the one where the hobbits went and took the ring to Mordor.
Yeah.
That was quite cool. Now, my favorite one, I'll have to agree with. I'll have to agree with Grant Hinds, mainly because it's been such a while since I've watched the first released 3 episodes. And when I saw Rogue One, I'm like, 4, 5, 6. I don't even know the numbers, but I'm like, this makes a lot more sense now. What I can remember, the connecting the dots. That is what that Rogue One took me back to when I was. Holy balls! Was it? I think I was like 12, 13 years old when I watched Star Wars. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
Guys, you can sue me, but I really liked The Force Awakens. I actually really like this last trilogy a lot, and people are like so upset. And I go like, guys, they go again. It checks my box of going to all these really cool environments. So I go like, you know what I mean? That's what I came for. It's like, yes, it's like James Bond, but like in space, right? They can go anywhere they want.
Dude, The Force Awakens, they just returned to Tatooine. It was like, okay, why? Why not bring a whole new planet in?
It's fan. They do too much. They do too much fan service. I honestly wish they just forget about fans. Like they just need to like. They've got great creative people behind it. It's a new generation. Fuck those people. Let's just enjoy it. Like you know.
Well, I wouldn't say fuck those people, because a lot of those. Fans,
honestly, they can cry all they want about like, I don't want to see Luke Skywalker again, bro. He's dead now, bro. Like, let's see these new people. Let's go to new planets. Let's see new technology. Let's go on spaceships. Like that's why I'm Star Wars.
I need more Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is really good.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
Exactly right. They got that, and they got that right in the Mandalorian. It's crazy. The creatures. We can have so many new creatures. How few exciting creatures were there in the new series? And the last Star Wars movie was so boring, and all the fans loved it. It was like on that rainy planet the whole time, man. And I was like, yes, I nearly fell asleep.
No, yeah, I'm up for season 2 of Mandalorian. And do you guys play the Force Unleashed games? Because I enjoyed those.
The Force Unleashed, I liked 2. That was quite fun.
But
I didn't play too much of them.
They're fun.
I played like about an hour or 2 of each because I had to like talk about them on TV.
You had to. It was your homework.
Like, can talk about this tomorrow on TV, and I go like, fine.
Gotta throw some lightsabers around now for TV.
Yeah.
Can you play Beat Saber?
Hey, Beat Saber. Oh yes. Have you played Beat Saber, Geek? Zaffa?
No.
I got to be careful which geek am I talking to here? So.
It's VR. I can't do VR at all. So
I haven't. Yeah, I can't do VR either.
Yeah, this shows how much this actually shows how much Grant watches us. Yes, dude, we stream it.
It's not fair because we only streamed it like once or
twice.
Yeah,
we streamed it once or twice, so I'm not taking.
He's stirring cuck here. That's what's going on. He's stirring cuck.
Yeah.
I am. It's my job, dude. I would not be Zef Diffie if I wasn't stirring cuck.
Questions. I don't know if anyone can hear me with my lovely, gravelly, scratchy voice.
Oh yes.
I'm so sorry.
These are both for you, Grant. The first one is from Kuya, a fellow content creator. So, hi.
Hey, Kuya.
Did you ever feel discouraged in the earlier stages when you noticed other channels with similar content to yours or even better? If so, how did you overcome it?
I never feel discouraged. I get really encouraged, actually. I honestly believe that if other content creators are succeeding, we'll all succeed. Like, and I've always had that like mentality. It's like we have Ubuntu in South Africa, and it should carry across to the work we're doing. We're like, and if people are noticing South Africans like succeeding, they'll come and watch the rest of us. And we rate each other all the time. We've got like literally everybody I follow on my follow list is all just like mostly South Africans with like, 10, 20, 30 like concurrent viewers. And then I'll just raid one of them that I haven't raided in a while. Boom, 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 boom. And and I think that's really important. Like, also, it also shows you that if you're doing something right. Like, it's not a race. It's not a competition. Like, they're not any better than you. You're not any better than them. If you've got more people, it's like skateboarding.
Yeah. That was actually a thing I struggled with in the beginning, hey?
As well.
Yeah,
okay, well, maybe you
should
talk about it more.
I eventually gotten over it, but it was sort of stuff like and to be perfectly honest, and this is me going perfectly honest, I saw that check mark, the first 5 milliseconds, I was like, motherfucker, I'm actually happy for him. It was that.
You'd be
freaking like, you motherfucker. I'm actually happy for him. It was, for me, it was crazy because, in my case, what happened is one of the first streamers in South Africa that got partnered literally came into my stream and rubbed my face in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was not cool.
I was sitting there going, okay, cool. Time to ban her and her mods. Yeah. It wasn't cool. And it's and I was like, you motherfuckers, okay, let's just leave it at that. And after a while, someone else got partnered. I'm like, good on you, lady, good on you. And with you, Grant Hinds, I'm like, you mother, no, good on you, good on you.
But it means
it essentially means South Africa is getting on the Twitch map.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, a little birdie has told me Amazon opened up their web services thing in Cape Town on Thursday last week.
They did, yeah.
So that means we might actually get Twitch servers very soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because then it's guaranteed. Like, one of the best things being in the UK was literally just like pressing stream and it worked. And you come back to South Africa and you're like, why is this not working?
No, I'm only sitting on 75% dropped frames. The stream is still good.
Yeah.
What are our drop frames on? 0.
Mine's at 0.
We're all drop frames, but we're also running on 30 meg per second fiber. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's a bit different.
4G,
being in the UK, it's
you're running on 4G. Your quality is excellent. What?
MTN. Yeah.
Yo, my
MTN
bro.
fixed LTE. It works fast. But it's
yo, bro.
Yeah.
I've just got 250 up and 250 down, so I'm pretty stoked.
Dude, that's
Jeez
pretty
Louise.
good. All right, great. Grant, it's got a big question for you.
Yes.
Doesn't know you.
All right. She says, I have a question for Grant. He's the one with the green hair. Yes, Susie, thanks.
Is it green or yellow? It looks like yellow.
We know
to
who
me.
Grant is.
She does
It's
it.
turned into green now.
Don't worry. He seems like he's been doing it for a while. How long has he been streaming for?
I've been streaming for 2015, but a lot of it was on YouTube early days.
That's a lot of years,
So,
Grant. 2015.
5 years. No, it's 5 years. But I've been doing gaming, like the gaming thing, since 2008. So just in different ways.
The furthest I found was 2012. Going back when I was stalking you.
Oh shit.
5 questions.
So 2008 was when I did my first thing on Hectic 99, and then every week or two I did it, and then I wrote for GQ, and then I got in 2009, 2010. Yeah, I did all the game reviews. I art directed a fashion show for SABC, and we went to the launch party and we sat at a table and there was a woman sitting next to me. She was one of the producers of the show. Her name was Asanda, and she just like nudged me and she was like, "Do you know who that is across the table?" And I was like, "What?" She goes, "That's the editor of GQ." So I literally just got up. I don't know what happened. I was like, "Huh?" And I just walked over and said, "Hi, my name's Grant. Do you have a game reviewer?" And he looked at me and he was like, And his wife recognized me from TV. She was like, "Hey, you're on that kid show." And I was like, "Yes, this is great." This somehow worked out. He goes, "Okay, well, send me a review in the morning." And I did it. I went home and I wrote a review and I sent it to him in the morning. And then he was like, "Cool, you got the job." So,
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Well, let's see who asked.
An inspirational story.
you just gotta like, dude. When I got my first job in gaming, the only reason I'm in gaming was I was a storyboard artist for a cartoon show in the TV studio, and I was drawing like 100 pictures a day. Hey, like just sitting there at my Cintiq with my headset on, just illustrating. And then the director for one of the live shows came running up in a panic. I'm still friends with him now after all these years. And he was like, I used to walk around the office just like on the wheelie chairs. I was like the young guy in the office, just like really excited about games. Everyone was like, Grant needs to get laid. And I just was like, oh, like Rainbow Six Siege, Rainbow Six Vegas 2 came out. Well, Vegas and Vegas 2 were coming out at that stage. And I was like, oh, these games are so cool. And only the 3D animators could play them on their computers. And I'd stay after hours and just watch them play like a 4-man squad or whatever. And then he just ran up to me with a copy of Viva Pinata and said, listen, the person who's doing these game reviews on TV tomorrow is called in sick, can't do them. Can you review this game for me on TV tomorrow? I had never played an Xbox before. I had never been on TV before, like in that capacity. I was supposed to be doing this, and I was supposed to see friends that evening. So, and I had like 5 seconds, and I said, yes, can I keep the game? And they were like, yeah, you can keep the game. And I was like, okay, fine.
That's what you were worried about, giving the game.
Yeah. So then I just called a friend, and I was just like, who had an but I knew had an Xbox, and I was like, I was earning 4,000 Rand a month. An Xbox was 4,500 Rand. So I was like, dude, can I borrow your Xbox tonight? Well, like, what are you doing? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come over. And I literally played Viva Pinata. I went in the morning. I kind of like planned a couple of things I was going to say. And then they were like, do you want to come do that again next week? And I was like, cool. But if I didn't say yes to that, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing any of this. Like this, I would probably be like an art director in an ad agency or something stupid. Like
the darkest timeline. It wouldn't be this timeline. Although with Corona.
Yeah, yeah, so true.
Zappa, any questions for Grant?
Well, Grant.
Yeah.
What inspired the Grant versus Overwatch YouTube channel? And what is it all about? Because I don't know what it's all about.
Okay. Well.
Talk to the layman here.
Okay, so I have a few theories about how the algorithm works, and I'm kind of like stagnant on my current channel. I'm kind of like I go up like 100 subs a month, but that's not enough. Like it shouldn't be climbing so slowly. It should be like pumping. So and the main reason is that there's no focus in content. So I reverse engineered the algorithm to focus on something that I cared about, which was Overwatch, to create a channel that would do very well. And it has, but I just, since Corona, haven't actually uploaded or had time to do anything on it. And it looks like, yeah, that was the purpose of it. It was quick to produce, works with the algorithm, and yeah, and it proved a couple of things to me. About, I mean, like some of those videos are sitting on really good views, and it's just like I proved myself correct, which was
so good. Now the next question is, seeing as you've gained like your partnership and you've gained so much success with Overwatch, do you feel like you're sort of pressured to stick with Overwatch? I know you enjoy it, but do you feel like a certain sort of pressure to just stick with the game?
Yes and no. So I really like playing Overwatch, which is great. So like I think it's one of the best made games in like, I don't know, the last like decade, especially competitive games. So I really enjoy it, and I'm pretty good at it. That's one of the few games I'm actually like really good at. So
yeah,
so I'm happy to stick to it. But at the same time, like my audience really doesn't mind. People don't come to my audience for Overwatch, to my channel. So like if I play Call of Duty, I get the same viewership, but like tonally the stream changes a little bit, but it's still the same. Like I'm currently downloading Assassin's. Huh?
Just continue.
I'm currently downloading Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm going to play a bit of that. I'm going to play a bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 this week as well. People come mostly to have a chat and hang out and play games with me. I have quite a big community stream, so I like hosting people. I'm quite extroverted, so I love it when people just come into the chat, and I want like a Discord with like 100 people in it, and I just go, "Shut up, everybody, let's do this." You know, like I love that.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I feel like I'm literally hosting them at my house. That's what I like about it. And it doesn't really matter what to do.
Yeah. Do you think that if you, like, let's say in the future, decided to do streams more focused on, let's say, single player storylines, do you think it would impact the numbers a tiny bit, or do you think it won't impact it at all?
I think it will, and the main reason it will is because I have such a community focused channel. So if the community aren't doing anything together, then it kind of defeats the point. So I've built the channel on that stage, right? You've got in like advertising, you call it your USP. Like what is special about your viewing experience? What makes you different from every other streamer? And I think streamers need to address, if you want to become a streamer and you're watching this, that's the thing that you need to ask. Like, what makes your stream watchable? Why do people need to tune into you and not Shroud? Because that's literally the options they've got. They literally can click on Shroud stream if they want to. So like what gives you a competitive advantage over Shroud? And you've got to literally like think like that. That's why streaming is so difficult, because it's not like, am I the best South African streamer, or am I the best streamer in my neighborhood, or like you literally are competing with like, am I as good as Ninja? What makes his content compelling? Why are there so many people watching him? Like what genre do I fit into? Are there genres? Like those are all questions you need to sit down and plan and like disseminate. And some of them is like more philosophical stuff, because you've got, I believe content creation is like a philosophical discussion. Like, why do other people need to spend their attention on you? Like, what makes why are you holding their attention, or what makes you holding their attention so valuable? And I think in my streams, it's a community thing. It's hanging out, it's socializing. I got all these ideas to like take some of my viewers on dates on Instagram stories, so people can see faces to those people, so that like when people come into the chat, they're like, oh, it's not just a colorful name with a bit of text next to it. It's like, oh, that's Gareth. You know, like I remember they had the discussion, and this is his viewpoint, and this is what he believes in, and this is what makes him happy. You know, and then like they form friends on my Discord without me even being there. Like they just like hang out and talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then some other people might be like really good at a game, like Shroud, right? Like people, he's just like he's basically like a football player. People coming to watch him because he's like the Messi of the games he's playing, and that's cool. Like anyway, sorry.
No, I've been dabbling around a bit, so much so that I got a message in Afrikaans from the lady sitting there last night. I've been dabbling in. I'm dead serious. She sent me a message in Afrikaans, and I'm like, wow, that was really, really good. But I've been dabbling around a bit, and I'm doing actually Afrikaans streams. You know?
Ek moet gehoor.
Jy het gehoor, ja. And Great Susie, one of the viewers in chat, she's from Texas, and she goes into Google Translate and talks to me in Afrikaans while I'm streaming in Afrikaans.
Oh, Great Susie!
I respond to her in English and everything. She pulled it off so perfectly that some people in my chat actually thinks she's from South Africa.
You know, here's a fun fact. The dialect in the South of America and Afrikaans are actually very similar, like if you linguistically, which is something that you can actually, there are dissertations on how similar Afrikaans is to the American South.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been dabbling in that and experimenting, and it seems to be working somewhat.
No, and also that's amazing. That's amazing. And you know, and also like that also could bring potential brand deals like the fuck off beer. Like they should be, you drinking so much of that shit on your stream. You need to be paid by them.
I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah, like there's a lot of value, bro. There's a lot of value in that, and also just finding your community. And it's not a race. Like everybody says, like, oh, you need to have like a million subscribers to be successful or whatever. It's like, no, You know what makes us successful right now is that I get to do this as my job. That's what makes me successful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I've already made my success.
If I've looked at lots of different podcasts and videos and everything, and they like, when should you go full time with Twitch? And they give you guidelines, and I'm sitting there going, everything they've told me about when I should have gone full time is wrong. Because I started going full time with an average concurrent viewership of 15. Okay.
Wow.
I had 3 months worth of salary, and I had 3 months to make that work. And the community came together. And so what I learned from those videos is there's no real answer to do things on Twitch or to do things correctly on Twitch. There's guidelines. That's why, like, whenever someone asks me about something, I'm like, this is what worked for me. It might not work for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Like I can't speak Afrikaans on stream and expect people to come through.
Come to Bloemfontein, by the way. 2 days after you phoned me that other time, I literally messaged some friends of mine. I'm like, guys, where the hell are vegan restaurants? And they're like, okay, cool. We can send you a list of 10, but go to these 6 first before you go to the other 4. And I'm like, cool. The next time Grant is in Bloem, I'll take him there.
My God. Like literally there was nothing. I was like, oh, where are we?
Yeah, you were on the outskirts of Bloem.
Yeah, I'm really keen to go back. It seemed like a very friendly town. Everyone was super friendly. I like people. Like, so people places are nice. That's why I like New York. Yeah. Everyone's like talky. Like Bloemfontein, everyone is super friendly. I felt welcome. I hate going to a place, even if it's pretty. I hate going to a pretty place and everyone's cock. Huh?
Even Glasgow.
Seriously.
Just come to our little
come to Scotland.
hometown.
You want to meet friendly people, dude. Scotland.
One day is one day.
When I'm falling, I'll come. I hear Scotland's amazing. London was cuck. I hated London because London,
Me
everybody
too.
it's a shithole. Like everybody is just
all the time.
No, people, the culture like is just so everyone's skeptical of you and you know me, I'm like super energetic. Like there are people that are very skeptical of me online because they think I'm like faking being so hyperactive and energetic. But it's like, yeah, I just stream for 6 hours. Like I'm cool, man. You can't fake this. You know what I mean? You can't fake this.
Yeah.
That's like, and in London, everyone was like, "Is this?" Like, I honestly thought I was going crazy after about 6 months. I was sitting on the tube going, like, I can't talk because people are looking at me. Like, I can't speak. So if I have a question, I'm like whispering it to someone, and it's not who I am. And so the whole of Africa, if you look at the whole African continent, we are all very talkative, friendly people. If you go to Nigeria and you greet a Nigerian, he will hold your hand for the entire conversation. Try that in London. They will like basically sweat and panic.
Like, let go of my hand.
Yeah, no, I was like, yo, we're not like that, man. We're not like that. We're friendly people. And like, and eventually I was like, I didn't care. Like I started just not caring. And I was like, I heard that the north of the UK is much better. Like Birmingham and Norwich.
Well, Scotland, Birmingham as well, dude, but all the way up. Wales, Scotland, or Birmingham, Wales, Scotland, you'll find a lot of friendly people. It's actually madness. You know, Kez and I walked around here for what? You know,
that was the one thing I hated the most.
Yeah. We walked around for one day. On our first day, people were like,
best friend.
Yeah. First day, I went to Edinburgh, dude. Went to Edinburgh and I walked into, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, the Warhammer shop in Edinburgh. Only Warhammer. Everything. Just Warhammer. I walk in, dude, I made a friend on my first day in Scotland.
Amazing.
Damn.
That is how friendly these people are. It's crazy. It's actually madness how crazy the Scots are as friends. They will. That sounds like a nice
place. I would. I like
wanna,
look if. Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Continue.
No. I'm done now.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Are you done? Okay. I'm gonna twist the one question around a bit. I hope you guys are intelligent enough to know what question it is. Have you ever injured yourself by doing something stupid? Stupid injuries, stupid. This is not a self-harm stream, trust me. It's just something stupid. I'll go with an example that I did.
Yes.
Luckily, there wasn't a YouTube back then, but I was playing Star Wars Kid in my backyard with a broomstick. And I jumped in the air and I landed on the broomstick, and the broomstick hit my lip. And the tooth punctured my lip. So I went to my mom and I'm like, look. And there's like air blowing out of the top of my lip.
What? Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God.
Bloody hell.
Stupid self-injuries. Mostly focused on being kids, though.
Dude, you are fucking mad. You know that.
I was 9 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So any of you got any stupid stories like that? Huh? No?
Giannis?
That's a tough one. There's got to be so many when you're a kid. You know, you have to like
Well,
filter out.
I can answer one if you want.
I got an adult one for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not PG.
Even better.
Oh,
How what do you mean by not PG?
the stream is explicit, so go for it.
Okay, here we go. So I was putting together like shelving. It's actually this shelving behind me, and I basically used my heel. I was like crouched like Spider-Man, right? So my heel was like basically on the tubing underneath, in between my nutsack and your butt. What is that called? It's got an air. It's like your taint.
Your taint, yeah.
Your grundle.
So I was just working and I had my foot there, whatever. So that evening, hanky panky time, and I just came blood everywhere.
Holy
dear. Oh dear.
Holy shit.
I told you it wasn't PG.
It wasn't PG, no, but it's okay.
It wasn't. But I've got to ask.
God, dude, you joking?
I've got to ask.
No, and
SA
I came
Geeks
blood
now.
for. I basically just checked every day for. I came blood for like a week.
Jeez.
Damn.
Don't ever crouch when you.
Kez and Ziv, how does this stack up against Chicken Winger's USB story? Like, does it outpace it?
Okay, we have a winner.
The number one story goes to Grant.
Fucking hell, you're gonna have
No, tell me the chicken wing story.
Chicken Winger story. You guys want to tell it, or should I? Well, I'll just tell it. So the last guest we had last week, Chicken Wingers, we asked him, like, what is one of the worst things, or the best story he had? And the best story he had was that he once swallowed a USB flash drive, and his friends told him he needs to find it. He needs to locate it. So the next day, he went digging around looking for the flash drive, and he found it.
Did it still work?
I don't think you tried that.
And lost
I wouldn't stick a poo stick in my computer. That's
I
right.
wouldn't either. That doesn't seem safe. I mean, we got an IT technician here. Would you try that, Ziff?
I can honestly say, dude, it wouldn't work. Because over and above the fact that it's gone through a whole bunch of liquids, it's
You
also
washed it.
gone through
You rinsed it off.
your stomach acids, which means any of the silicone that was inside the chip itself will have been damaged.
But it
There's
also
no
got
doubt.
wet.
Well, that's what I mean. Over and above all the liquid. It's also
No,
going
but
through
he
stomach
also
acid.
rinsed it. after he-
Yeah, nonetheless, I mean, it went into the
And
toilet.
it went
too.
down the drain again.
Look, I probably would rinse it and give it a go. You know what I'm saying?
Just
No, but
Yeah,
he
just for
rinsed
science.
It won't work.
He
Not with
rinsed-
silicone.
But also, he rinsed it and then it fell down the drain, so he lost it.
You lost
Yeah,
it
so it
again.
was a pointless process.
Oh.
That's my favorite part of the
Damn.
story. It was like all that energy.
Right? Yours wins.
I've got another one that's pretty bad as well.
Oh, jeez, they're gonna hit us with
Poo-
another
Poo,
one.
poo, poo stories are great. Poo stories are excellent.
Top tier
So,
comedy.
in varsity, I had butterfish. Have you guys ever ate butterfish before?
Good God, no.
I don't think so.
Have you heard of it?
Heard a bit, you.
No.
Okay, so not many people heard of it. It's okay. This was before my vegan days, and like, I'm so grateful now. But it's a delicious fish. It is so delicious. It is kind of like the Turkish delight in the Chronicles of Narnia, because what ends up happening is that a large percentage of the human race is actually allergic to it. It's got like a kind of a toxin, a cytotoxin in it or something. I found this out after eating it because I had some. I was like, this is amazing. Had another helping.
Yeah. Almost
the
died.
following morning, I was just farting, and I was like, this is great. Like, I'm feeling so good. But what you're farting, the reason it tastes so good is that it's such an oily fish. It's got a lot of fat in it, and you're just farting oil, right? So I didn't feel it. When you fart oil, like you feel water, you fart diarrhea, you can like feel it, right? Oil. Yeah. So I took the train to town, sat in college, and I was like, something smells like shit. Somebody stepped in shit. Then I went to the toilet, like for myself, because I'm feeling a bit like hectic, and I pulled down my pants, and it's just oil, like a runny poo oil, just down my legs. And like, bear in mind, this is first year college. They're just hot girls around me. And here I am, literally in the bathroom, like basically with my pants off, rinsing and using hand wash to clean my underpants. Basically on the verge of tears. That pair of jeans was stained, like it had like a full on like oil stain on the back. So just never ever eat butterfish. If somebody, I've got butterfish, it'd be like
no.
Ooh, Okay, I'll remember that.
Okay, for those UK viewers, his pants, he actually means trousers.
Trousers.
Just so you know.
I'm pretty sure they would know what pants
his pants too, though.
Damn.
Well, I don't have any story that can top those two stories. What about you?
That was the worst. And then I still went through the whole day of varsity and saw my girlfriend afterwards.
What? Man completed the mission. Yeah, man completed the mission.
Completed. I got 100%, man. I got 100% that.
You had to get the platinum trophy that day, or else.
I should have just fucked off home. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have called my mom and said, "You picking me up?" I go,
you should have settled for bronze, but you went for platinum.
Through a whole day of college and then took the train back home.
Damn.
No ways.
Dude, if you'd been in this country, the bus driver would smell you and say you could get off the bus.
Yeah. 100%. I love how judgmental I was, because I was sitting there going like, yeah, somebody smells like shit. They must have walked in it. Bad luck on them. It was way worse than stepping in shit, that's for sure. Way worse.
That was all you, man.
It was just oil everywhere. Just poo oil. It's like, poo infused oil out my butt.
Wow.
It was just oil.
And here
everywhere.
I'm sitting, the worst
Just
thing I've
poo
ever
oil.
eaten was homho.
What's that?
Snout of a stingray in South Korea.
That's fucking hectic. Why on earth would you eat that?
Why not?
They challenged me to it and like, you like spicy food? And I'm like, yeah, sort of. And they're like, try this. They put the plate in front of me with these meat bits in it. I looked at it and I just started crying. That's how spicy it was. And I still continued to eat.
But you see, does it even matter what the substrate is at that stage? They could have given you like a banana and said, here. And they just cooked it in whatever spice they were making.
Masala banana. Yeah.
Masala, yeah, let's go. It doesn't matter at that point, because you're literally just eating like gunpowder.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Gunpowder.
That was quite bad, but no, it won't beat poo oil. Never.
Grant, do you know?
Durian is pretty. Have you guys had durian before?
No.
Nah.
It's like a Korean fruit that smells so bad. Durian. I think it's D-U. Let me just Google. D-U-R-I-A-N.
Yep.
Okay, for those of you who know, here in Scotland they have something called haggis.
Yeah.
It's actually quite nice.
Very peppery.
It's very peppery.
Do you guys all know that that's what they put on it? It's like not peppery on its own.
It's actually quite nice. No. They have to add the pepper to it. It's very peppery.
Because it would be pretty cooked on its own. Do you guys all...
There's a vegan haggis.
What?
It's just as good.
What's it made out of?
Just so you know.
I'll try that.
Haggis. Okay, generally
made
what
out
it
of fruit
is
offals.
mutton cooked in sheep stomach. Okay, but for
Yeah,
vegans,
we fucking
it's
hectic,
not
eh?
cooked in sheep stomach.
Humans don't give a fuck, eh? We just like fuck. What?
Well, yeah, dude.
Imagine like something ate us like that. Imagine a creature. You know what? I know. There is one chef who's like one of the Michelin star chefs who's now a vegan because he was just cooking. He was just doing like a pig stuffed with like a turkey stuffed with like a chicken. And then he just had this epiphany as he was doing. He's like, "What the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Just think about this. What are we doing? Oh, we're going to take their inside, but we're going to shove you outside, and we're going to put it into your stomach, and then we're going to eat it. It's like a Mortal Kombat move."
It's a Mortal Kombat.
Okay, but there is a vegan version.
Haggis-tality.
Oh, it's not cooked in the sheep's stomach. It's I don't know how it's cooked actually. I think it's cooked in the film that they use for Overwatch that isn't actually real meat.
Yeah. It's like
It's that same film. It's actually cooked inside that. But dude, it's actually really nice. If you like your peppery kind of foods, you'll really like this. It's very nice. It's got a very unique taste to it. With mash and turnips. You're gonna have
turnips. That's a strange one.
Yeah, no, it's actually called.
Gonna turn it
I
up.
shit you not. I guess nips and tatties.
But tatties is tatties.
So in other words, it's haggis, turnips, and mashed potato. Mashed turnips and mashed potatoes.
I'm done.
Dude, you gotta try it. There is a vegan version of it, dude, and it is unfucking believable. It is really nice. Trust me, you'll love it. So when you come up here, dude, we'll treat you to it.
Yeah, let's do it. So this durian is like a plant that's found in, if you Google it, it looks like a big pineapple, I suppose. But it's so hectic, it's illegal to eat it on the subways and stuff because it stinks so bad. But it's a delicacy. There are lots of people. You can watch YouTube videos of people trying to eat it, and I had some in San Francisco once, and I was like, nah, never. It literally smells like fart, but it's actually hard to describe. It's hard to describe, and people eat it, like
eating fart.
Yeah, it's like, and it's like slimy. It's interesting. And people. I think it's like, you know, when people have like a taste that's. Yeah, refined palate. It's like, you know, if you grow up eating it, I'm sure it's delicious because that's, you know, that's all that food is, really. Actually, it's just nostalgia. Like if we grew up eating other shit, we'd like it as well. But I think because it's so like weird, like it stinks so hectically. Like the West are just like, what is this thing? What and it's banned in all forms of public transport across Thailand, Japan, and Hong Kong.
Yeah. You're not allowed to take it anywhere.
We need to get back on the rails, I think.
Indeed.
We need to get back on track.
Yeah, we jumped very far off those rails.
We need to probably rapid fire some of them. Which
I don't know, from both of you guys being full-time streamers, how has Corona affected your work? Has it been positive, negative? Has it changed your life in some way that you didn't expect?
Zaffa,
I should go. The funny thing is, I looked at it. I've seen a couple of podcasts. I've watched a couple of podcasts right before it started, before it really hit the world, and they were talking about it. And some of them brought up the most common point that everybody brought up is like Twitch viewership shouldn't change too much because generally the people that would be traveling to places for conventions and all those stuff is sitting at home now. So what do? They stream. So their viewers stays with them, basically. For me personally, my viewership has increased a tiny little bit. But I can't ascribe it to COVID-19. I can't really say, oh, it's because of this that I'm getting more viewers. So for me, generally with my viewership numbers on my channel, it's roughly the same. It's slightly better. It's actually slightly better, but we got to wait it out. I mean, it's still, even though we're so far along in this pandemic, we still need to see what the outcome is or what will happen in about a month or two in that time, just because a lot of people that's supporting us now is supporting us because either A, they work from home, or they have, I'm talking financially, obviously, or they have some spare cash lying around. But the moment, this financial support might actually, I'd say around about June-ish, July-ish is when, if this thing isn't sorted out by then, is when most Twitch streamers will see an impact on their finances, I think. Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, I think mine streams have been like really good, like really, really good. And I think I've had a good couple of collabs which have helped. But I honestly think it's a lot of kids are at home instead of at school, and they'd rather play games and study. And like a lot of people, like Zaffa was saying, are like staying at home and working from home. So I'm seeing about a 20% increase in viewers, pretty much. And also I'm seeing a much bigger increase in income. I just think people are working out what Twitch is. They're working out how to link their Prime accounts. But like Zaffa said, I'm worried about like next month or the month afterwards, because people aren't going to have income to donate. And unless you've got like a big benefactor, like sometimes you get somebody that just drops in like 20 gifted subs and you go like, oh, that's amazing, because like that goes a long way. But often that doesn't often always happen. So you're relying on like individuals, like 5 or 6 people a stream to like drop a Twitch Prime or something at our level. Like I don't know if that's your experience.
That's basically the experience. Yeah.
So you need that like that trickle income. It's like your base. And it's hard to, and also with the exchange rate, especially if you've got a lot of South Africans watching, which we do, then it's it's more expensive for South Africans to subscribe to South African streamers, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's $1.
Really?
It's $1 more expensive, roughly. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, look, I can honestly say it costs us less to subscribe to you guys than it does you guys subscribing to, for example, us. So I get it, dude. For people from overseas, it's a lot easier because we're firstly we're earning a higher income than South Africans are, but also you guys are being nailed by an extra. I think the VAT is clapping you hard. And
wait, we get charged VAT on a. Do we get charged VAT on a subscribe?
As far as I know, you get charged
if you subscribe to someone, yeah.
So
in South Africa. No, if you subscribe to someone in general and you're from South Africa.
But then you declare your Twitch payout, right? To tax.
I declare it as gifts.
Yeah, no, we don't have to.
Because that's the closest thing I could get to declare it as.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
Please, SARS, don't be watching this stream. Please don't be watching this stream.
So since I got partnered, I have started declaring it as income because I see that there is like a trade, like people get subs, like emotes and stuff, and the money is also made up of ads that are served on your videos. So I see that as like broadcast money, but the PayPal stuff that donors.
Yeah, careful, dude. SABC is going to come after you just now and take all your money.
No, but like you actually allowed like R500,000 gift untaxable in South Africa or something. So I mean, you're flipping lucky if you get R500,000 gifted on Twitch. That's a problem. That's a problem I want to sit down with my content and have.
If I get $500,000 gifted. If I get $500,000 gifted in South Africa, I'm not sitting in South Africa.
Yeah, it's
right, we're gonna shoot a couple of quick fire questions at you guys, just so that we can clear out the questions a bit. Yeah, we have a few. All right, so
dark side or light side?
Dark side or light side? Grant.
Light side.
Zaffa.
Gray. Because Luke was grey.
Grey.
Luke was grey.
Can you see? Can you see what's happening?
This is literally grey. He's literally grey.
Now he's literally grey. He was grey. He was playing between light and dark for a bit, hey?
I was.
Yeah, he was. All right, Grant. Which character from Star Wars do you identify with the most?
Probably Ray, actually.
All right, Zaffa, same question.
Boomcha, boomcha, Chewbacca. Ho, ho, ho.
I think I identified Baby Yoda the most. I just want to sit down and eat stuff.
No, that's the correct answer. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, choose dark side or light side, bro.
Gray. Can't you see I'm gray?
You suck.
It's already great. Dark side.
Guess it's dark side. I'm light side, so grey.
I'm confused.
Even me.
Why are you confused? Kez is dark, I'm light.
Oh, so the two of you are grey together. I see.
I see.
It was just simple math we didn't understand.
I didn't hear anything about Kez. I was like, what?
All right. Here's a fire for you, Grant. What is your favorite event or con that you've attended that you've attended recently or are able to attend?
Oh, I actually think it was Star Wars Celebration that I liked the most. Because it was literally, if you go to like E3 or Gamescom or all those ones, it's all like journalists and everyone's being super critical and studying the game and trying to find faults. Literally, Star Wars Celebration is like, we're here because we love Star Wars. That's like, and everyone's just pumped about Star Wars. And I was like, that's actually what got me pumped. I was like, everybody's just having fun. It reminded me of like when you're a kid playing video games and like there weren't things like internet reviews and you weren't like competing with your friends. You just had a really good Saturday. You know what I mean? There was no people telling you that you're wrong or, you know?
Just being a kid again.
Yeah, just being a kid again. So yeah, Star Wars Celebration was probably my favorite.
Agreed. Zaffa, same question.
The gaming forum.
Why is that? Because everyone was there.
Because everyone was there and everybody was nice to me the second time around.
What happened the first time around?
I caused some shit. You're not part of that. You were not part of that. I caused some shit afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all grew the second time around. Yeah. We all grew the second time around. I was immature and crap. And the second time around, everything was cool. So I would say the gaming forum, yeah.
Well, Tunes, same thing.
I'd say Comic-Con Africa was probably my best last year. It was pretty fun.
The reason why?
It's fun, yeah.
It's the biggest con I've been to so far. I haven't really got that much of a chance to go that far abroad. So, and I spend a lot of time with content creators like you guys, which is really cool.
We hit him in our dungeon.
Yeah, we hit him in our dungeon.
Oh!
He was locked up with our black cat.
You and Tunes need to fight for Shade because she took to him like she took to you when you came to stay with us. So she's like divided between.
Yeah, so when you guys come up here, you're kind of screwed. And Grant, if you ever come to visit,
she'll take to you.
She'll take to you too. She's a slut cat.
Oh no.
She likes all the men.
I like cats like that. Just put it on your shoulder and just walk around the house.
No, that's Gandalf. That's Gandalf all the way. Or sorry, that's my namesake, Zip Diffie. Right, who's asking question 10 here? I see it's highlighted.
I'll ask it. What's everyone's favorite single player game?
Ooh.
Fuck you.
Ooh. That's a tough one. I would probably say Half-Life, actually.
The first one.
Good choice.
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
What the hell happened? What's happening?
He's looking for the orange box.
Favorite single player game?
He's getting a ladder.
What is
He's
happening?
getting a ladder. He's climbing on top of something. We can see a shadow.
Oh, God, be careful.
Jeez. Are you trying to break into Black Mesa?
If he falls off of there, someone's calling 112, eh?
He's gonna break into his own house.
This is
He's looking for something. Oh, wow.
There we go. He found the outlet too.
Dude, that's epic.
This is my original box.
Yes,
Nice.
we were more worried about you falling off the stair than the ladder.
Nice.
It came with CS Counter-Strike. Do you remember? This?
Yeah.
The original CS:GO, or the original
I literally worked like 3 shifts at a restaurant, and I like bought it on launch day. Those 3 shifts were literally for this. And then the first day this came out, this is when Steam was introduced, and I was like, why is the whole game not on the disc? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's epic. Zaffa, favorite single
player game. This is it's difficult. If we were to go with the one single player game that got me into gaming, I would go Monkey Island 2.
Oh, good choice.
Oh.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Monkey Island 2, I wouldn't be sitting here tonight. Let me put it to you that way. But single player thing I spent the most time in, probably all the XCOMs.
Okay. Well, you have to spend time.
Good choice.
Yeah.
It's difficult to breeze through those games.
Yeah, the first XCOM actually took me 2 years to finish.
I can imagine that.
And I'm talking about the one that was released in 94, 95.
Oh, wow. Not even the latest one.
I never finished an XCOM game. The XCOM game finished me, and then I left.
Dude's favorite single player game?
Mine, Final Fantasy VI will always be my favorite.
Nice. That's a good choice.
Oh.
6
There's
is
a
a
camera.
very good choice.
Delayed reaction. It's okay.
It's the lag. It's the lag.
It's that 4G.
Yeah, it's that 4G.
The 4G shit, yeah.
And you guys?
It's like Haley waving with her arm that's not on the camera.
Yeah, the off-camera wave.
Which character from Star Wars do you identify with most, Grant?
Look how these guys just
We already
like
did that.
sideways.
Oh, we did that already. Why is it deleted then, man? Okay, well in that case, Grant, how did you get involved with esports?
Esports. I think it's a natural extension of like the gaming thing. Like
Which one?
I
Do you-
enjoy.
Oh, you deleted. Never mind. Sorry, I'm shouting at tunes.
Sure, chins.
Okay,
I think it's a natural extension of what we do. Like I really thoroughly enjoy like Overwatch, and I used to really enjoy Dota. Played a lot of Dota. So I just never competed in tournaments. I knew I wasn't good enough to compete in those tournaments, but I enjoyed playing with friends, and I love being a part of the production for esports things. So I have participated on stage every now and again as a funsies, but never as like a player. But I love watching it. Like Overwatch League is fun to watch. You know, I love all those things.
The rest of you guys, what would you try competing in if you had to be an esports player?
Gran Turismo.
Kez?
Apex.
Yes, Apex. That's a good one. Good shout.
I would go most likely. That's going to be difficult. I have to compete in. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to be good in it, right?
No, you just enter the.
Like if I were good at one game, I'd like to compete in it.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Quake.
Oh, that's a
I
classic.
was
Good choice. Good choice.
I think the only thing I would try competing is Gwent from The Witcher. That's the only thing I would try competing in.
Yeah, I like Wind. And if you want to see me compete in Gran Turismo, I'll do it. I'll do it on stream as well if you really want.
Next question.
Next question.
What have you been
Grant,
doing
you-
during lockdown to
Role
keep
model.
sane?
Oh, sorry.
Hold on.
Zaffa, go first.
What have you been doing during lockdown to keep sane, Grant?
I've been doing a lot of exercise. There's a garage, a parking garage underneath our apartment block, which I've been running in. And I've been trying to do like between 3 and 8 kilometers a day if I can. And then now that we're unchained, I'm literally running at like 7 in the morning and just going. And then try on my streams, I try to do like 200 push-ups a stream. And then and other stuff as well. And then I'm trying Pilates as well. I just think that I need to do something physical, otherwise my mind is waning. But I'm also kind of like, it feels like a video game. I know that sounds weird. It's like, oh, I can compete in this thing, and I'm, like, it's easy to just get on the road and run.
Level up.
Yeah, and then eventually you're like, that was fun. I feel better now. I'm gonna have a rusk and some coffee, and then the following day you're doing it again. You're like, Then I'm actually starting to really look forward to these like exercise routines and just like beat them like mini games.
Nice.
Something I never thought I would be doing. To be honest.
Gamification of life.
Zaffa, reversal. Same question.
Oh, the fortunate thing is, for the first 2 years that I went full time, I literally went out once every month, maybe once every 2 months. So this thing for me is like, it's like my first 2 years.
It's normal.
So I'm still reasonably sane, I think. But for me, basically playing games, and actually I've gotten into poetry again. So
awesome.
That's cool.
Are you willing to share?
can you understand Afrikaans?
Look, if it's like Yonk walking into the sea or whatever, what's her name? What's her name?
It's not that crazy, I promise.
Afrikaans stuff is hectic, my bro. It's like groen is die kleur van genade. It's just like it's so intense all the time.
Yeah.
It's always somebody killing themselves or like.
No, definitely not. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Yes.
De dreun sagkens, die reuk van nat, vul elke hoek en kraak. 'n Nuwe begin vir die wêreld, vir ons. En ons dans saam mekaar, dans saam tog alleen. En ons is skaam in die donkerte, want daar is gediertes wat glimlag. Ons sal fok en wag, want môre is nog 'n dag. En ons sal stil raak, want die duiwel sal waak, tot ons kniel en braak. En stilte.
Yo, deep man,
Felt
that's
that,
cool.
Felt that in here. Felt that right in the feel sacks.
In the field sacks,
Yeah.
Sorry, choose.
Yeah.
After the rebound, it's now, or after the rebound, it's now the bounce off and return to you.
Oh,
Same
you
question.
used Murphos on me. What was the question? We just went to Afrikaans poetry all of a sudden. Say that again?
What do you do?
What have you been doing to keep sane?
Oh. What makes you think that I'm sane at the moment?
Well, we know you're not.
I'm a scientist. I just have a baseline of insanity throughout eternity. No, I think it's just playing with the pets probably keeps me the sanest. Got a dog, got a cat, go for walks in the yard. Yeah. And you guys?
Oh, us. We don't have lockdown. We're working.
Yeah, you guys are like on the ground, on the outside.
Yeah.
Out there every single day.
So every single one of you guys
Front lines.
that wants to know what I do for work or what we do right now, we are actually key workers here in the UK. We sit and jack petrol pumps off.
Petrol pumps, ATM points, newspaper points, anything that a person can touch their fingers on.
Anything that you put your fingers on, we're sitting there cleaning.
Sanitize.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
So that's our job. We get paid to do that.
Somebody's gonna do it.
So you guys are like outdoors all the time though, then?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. It's probably quite chill because there's like fewer people around and you're just like, okay.
No, not really, dude.
Not
Here in
really.
Scotland, there are so many people.
The past weeks, people
What?
are kind of like, fuck the lockdown, excuse the language, but they're going, fuck the lockdown. It's so busy. I mean, we had, let's try that again, brain not functioning. So the Morrison where I am, in the beginning of the lockdown, they were serving about 300 people. Now they're on 600 to 800 people. once
we've had
in the
entire time.
4th or 6th week of lockdown, people are just, there's queues almost every single day for people to get their shopping. And at the petrol station, people just don't care anymore.
Yeah, well, look, my side, it hasn't changed from when I started. Kez has got the whole increase. We've got the
crazy busy.
Because we're on the coast. So where I'm working, we're on the coast. Where Kez is working, we're more inland. So yeah, it's different people. But the whole thing is, it's for us. I don't see much of a difference other than the fact that people just irritate me. Wow, do people irritate me?
And we're sitting here going, but we want to be irritated by people.
Yeah.
You do.
Want to get outside. Yeah.
After this whole spiel, I don't want to see another. I'm happy I'm in IT. I fucking hate people. That's why I'm happy I'm in IT tech. I hate people.
He doesn't hate people. He really does. He says he does, but he doesn't.
No, it's the situation we're in, dude. 7 days a week.
Yeah,
From about 7:30 to 11 every day. It's tiring. We do this for 7 days a week, so it's painful.
Damn.
So yeah, that's why for us it's no different, other than the fact that we're exhausted.
We get to go out.
Yeah, we get to go out and we're exhausted. That's the difference. Anyway, it's not about us, it's about you guys.
Awali has on the YouTube channel, Awali has a question for you. He wants to know, what is one of the craziest fan moments you've had?
He actually met you.
Awali comics.
One of the craziest fan moments. Two people made me sign their forehead in Birmingham.
Interesting.
Like at Insomnia. Yeah. It was weird. Actually, weird ones. I was standing at a bus stop in Wimbledon, and like two girls came running up to me and they're like, "Hey, you're Grant, right?" And I was like, what? What are you doing here? Did you follow me here? Because please go.
You're about to get served.
So that was weird. And then that one like literally was strange. I was just standing in a crowd at Insomnia, and these two this brother and sister came up to me and they're like, "Do you mind? You're Grant, right? Do you mind signing our foreheads?" And I was like, "I think you're gonna regret this." Yeah, and a few years time, you look back and think this is a stupid thing, and they're like, "We don't care, we just want to do it." I was like, "Okay, I suppose I can't say no." So that was probably the craziest.
But also, he also wants to know, what is your scariest and what is your coolest fan moment?
Scariest? Sometimes people write me very long letters. I've had like essays written to me about like people's depression and stuff. And I know I can't help. So like I start reading it and I go like, I'm not going to continue because I'm not going to get caught up in this. And then I just refer them to like, you need to speak to a professional. I can't, and also they're going to regret doing it later. You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing you got to allow them that like respect, because they're like pouring out their heart and soul to you. And they're like in high school or they're in their early 20s and they just need to go see someone. And then afterwards, it's going to be like, why did I do that? And if I haven't read it, I'll be like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't read it." And I then it's better for both of us if I don't read it.
Yeah.
That those are quite scary.
Zaffa, Tunes, I'm sure you guys have got questions.
Most of the questions have been already answered that I wanted to do. Who's your role model or favorite person in the geek/gaming community? And why is it ZaffaGeek? No. Take away the ZaffaGeek thing. And why?
It's of course because of the majestic beard. Why else would it be? That's
There's
not
no
beard
anymore.
No longer the Zaffa we know. There's no long beard.
Yeah. But yeah, Grant's favorite personality in the gaming community.
My favorite personality.
Yeah.
I don't have a single favorite personality. I like to choose people that I can borrow things from. I really like Alié. I know a lot of you guys probably don't like him. I think he really understands his medium and his audience, and there's a lot to reverse engineer from the kind of stuff he's doing. Alié, he's actually a Fortnite YouTuber. He used to be a Call of Duty YouTuber and then transitioned to Fortnite. But you can nearly like reverse engineer everything he's done, and it's actually genius. Like his stuff is great.
Don't know him, dude. Honestly.
He's just hit 10 mil, I think. No, he's hit 12 mil now.
Wow. Wow.
But like, yeah, he's
madness, yeah.
And then I think like CDN the Third. Like, I don't know if you've seen his streams. He's a very creative streamer. Also, like, so he's part of like, there's a bunch of us like vegan streamers who have like he started like a private chat with a whole bunch of us, just like with resources. He's hectic vegan. Like he's like he's got parts of his Discord are like, come, let's chat, let's go. Let's watch Darius Scary. Let's go. But I love his passion as well. Like he's just like super energized and like ready to go. And I really like respect like his craft. And also he's also the kind of person who's shown me that being a multi-streamer is a good thing. Like multi-game streamer. Like he's mastered the art of keeping a community of like tens of thousands of people, plus streaming whatever game he wants to stream, and just enjoying himself while doing it, and not being the best, because like not every game you can realistically be the best in. So I really enjoy his stuff. So probably the two of them.
Cool.
What is questions again? Quite the questionnaire here. Firstly, what is it like to travel all over the world to work, basically doing things that geeks dream about?
It's tiring. It's more tiring than you'd even begin to imagine, to be honest. Like one of my very selfish moments was when COVID happened. I was like, I don't have to go anywhere this year. Like when you go on it's not like going for holiday. It's going for work, and you've got like shoots to do, and you've got a checklist, and you've got to produce content, and there are people at home, like your brands that you're working with, going like, where is this? And then if you film stuff for a TV show, there's an editor like working night shift, and you're in a different time zone, and they're waiting for footage. It's not like, hey, I'm just gonna go attend BlizzCon. It's like, am I getting everything done in the time that they've given me? And they more than often than not have booked you like 2 nights, because that's all they could afford at the hotel. And you've got to get everything done in like 3 working days. Let's go. And you're in a different time zone, and you jet lagged, and you just come back like sore. My bones are just sore often from a lot of these trips. It's not like I'm on holiday. And people don't. It's the same with streaming. They go like, "Oh, that's so much fun! You get to sit and play games all day," and it's just like, you don't understand.
But then again, you get to play games all day.
Yeah,
true. But like,
you do understand where I'm coming from. Like, our work is to play games. It's fucking difficult, even if people don't believe us. But it's still, at the end of the day, we play games.
But have you ever had like a dark moment? Like you just go like, God forbid I do this again. Have you ever had one of those? I'm like, honestly.
Yeah, I've had some of them sometimes, yeah.
And like, I think everybody experiences those in the jobs that they do. And like, just because we have a fun job doesn't mean that those moments aren't there, and that we have a right to experience those moments. Going like, the last thing on earth I want to do is stream.
I agree, dude.
No, you do have a right to experience.
No. What I'm saying is, a lot of people think that we have no right to experience those because we play games all the time. We have just as much a right to experience it as anyone else, because it's still work. You know, it's still difficult. Yeah. It takes it out on you. I mean, look, Kez and I have to deal with it tonight. Obviously, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. You guys have to deal with it
every day. Every
bloody day, basically. I mean, Zaffa, you suffer with the American hours. Grant, you suffer with most every other hour. Choose.
Yeah.
You suffer the university work. You don't count.
I do. I suffer science. That's what I suffer.
I can tell you about something that's more tiring than that. running a tabletop RPG session for 3 hours.
Yeah.
that sounds like hell.
Yeah.
That sounds like hell to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every Sunday night when I do the vampire thing, like when I finish there, I'm like, I want to go to bed, but I need to upload and edit these videos, but I want to go to bed. Yeah.
No, yeah. Dungeon mastering it takes it out of you. At one point, I think I had dungeon mastered 3 sessions in 1 week, and it killed me. It actually put me off dungeon mastering for a bit, and like I got totally burnt out on it. Because the thing is, you get into it because it's so fun, but being a dungeon master is so much work. It's like it's not like being
the biggest thing, because this is like my first gig as a storyteller / dungeon master. The biggest thing is someone says something, okay, and you have to go like, okay, cool, this is gonna happen probably, and then someone says something else like, oh crap, how am I gonna get those 2 points together? And then they veer off the path, and you're like, okay, let's try and get back on the path, and eventually you just sit there and go. It took me a total of 20 episodes to get them back on the track that I intended them to go on.
Classic D&D. Classic D&D.
That's Kez. 100%. That's Kez.
Everything that Tune said at Answer for Tune said a plan. It's like, okay, we're going to do this. And I was like, okay, no, we're going to do this.
Yeah. Kez went in the complete
D&D.
opposite direction every single time.
No question.
What are you guys doing?
What
What are you guys doing when
questions
you're
for you
not
guys?
streaming and playing games and doing your exercises,
Oh, there we
Grant?
go.
What are you doing during the other times?
Zaffa?
Why do you put me on the spot, man? Damn it.
God doesn't have an answer.
I watch copious amounts of porn. No.
That seems healthy.
I basically catch up on series that I've missed out in the last couple of years that I've been streaming. I catch up on that. And generally I watch podcasts. Like I'm in the whole tabletop RPG thing. I'm still catching up on shows. The shows are already done, but I'm still catching up on them. And while I'm catching up on them, I play games that I don't normally stream. Yeah.
Just for fun. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
games
just
are still
for
fun.
Just to,
yeah.
it's literally a case of like zone out, sit like this, like this is fun. I don't have to think about anything other than what I'm doing in the game and what's happening on the podcast.
Yeah. Grant.
Yeah, I play some games. I've got a Switch, so I play some games on the Switch. Playing Unravel 2. I also like to read. I'm reading Lauren Bucas's new book called Afterland.
Yeah.
Really good. Really, really good. It's about a viral pandemic, ironically. It's come out now. She's been writing it for 3 years. And
wow.
What a coincidence.
She's like, oh. Yeah. So like
she came into prominence when I still worked at the bookstore.
Oh really?
That's how I know the name. Yeah. She started like releasing her crap when I'm like, oh, cool. Lauren Bucas. That's it.
She's work.
You know, it's Moxieland and Zoo City and The Shining Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like her work.
So she was our head writer at the cartoon show that I worked at.
Oh.
So I'm friends with her from back then. Yeah, and she just became her dream was to become an author, but she was writing the stuff. She had actually published a few books. She's published a book called Mavericks, which is literally about like South African women, stories of South African women who were just like bosses, like short stories. And then that was like her first published work. And then Moxieland was the first like science fiction, and that's that she won the awards for. So she's really funny. So I was spending some time with her just before quarantine and helping her film. She did like a trailer for her for the book. But she's like, people don't understand. She's done a lot of research into pandemics. so she's like, people don't understand what's coming. Like they don't understand what's coming. Like so she's like her stories are horrifying. Like she's like knocking down the doors. She's like everything's crashing. The economy is definitely going to crash. There's nothing we can do about it. This is like everything is gonna like. There's like a timeline of predicted, like futurists have predicted, and we're all gonna suffer. And this is the worst thing ever. And I was like, calm down. She's studied the worst case scenarios, and like the book is basically every man on Earth is dead from a pandemic, and it all happened like really quickly. But the main character is a mom and a son from Joburg, and they're stuck in America trying to get back home to South Africa because America's gone a bit crazy. They're like the extremists that want to kill all the lost men because they think that it's like God's like judgment on humanity. And then there's like it's cool, like it's a cool like world actually.
Did she predict toilet paper though?
She didn't.
Okay.
That would have been something else. But it's just watching her panic about a pandemic is like, I gotta read this book. It's like what is going to happen? Like, I need to find out what's going on. But it's
I've got a few more questions, eh? So Kez is going to ask them in her scratchy voice.
Sure.
Was it scary to start when you had less subscribers? What went through your mind in those beginning days? And then we can make it a double question. Did you have an alternative plan before becoming a streamer or a YouTuber? And when did you know that was no longer for you?
Okay, you've just like confused the crap out of him.
No, say that again.
First question, was it scary to start when you had less subscribers? What went through your mind in those beginning days?
I think so for me it was like I had like 1,000 or 2,000 like followers on YouTube when I started, but I really didn't want to do my TV work anymore. I'd so done with TV, and it was pretty scary. But also like I like getting thrown into the deep end. Like if I care about the project enough, I'll just do it. So yeah, like it was scary, but at the same time I was having fun. It's like surfing or something. I don't know. Like I'm not an extreme sports person. It's close to I'm getting. So yeah, Zaffa?
Yeah,
Me?
Zaffa.
Wow. When I started back in Korea, and it was just like a sideline thing. I didn't really. I had fun while teaching kids. While teaching kids, I had fun, you know. And when I came back to South Africa, I had to find a job, and I started working in construction. I was a foreman, and eventually it got to the point where I realized that my stream sort of is suffering. I'm not having fun streaming. And 2 months later, they fired me, and that's when I went full time. And it was scary as hell, real scary. And there's nothing quite like the rush. And again, with the whole deep end thing, 90% of the time with the things that I do, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know it works. And that's generally my, like, fake it till you make it, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a Richard Branson quote: apply for a job and then learn how to do it before you actually start doing it, or learn to do it while you're doing it, you know. And that's basically the scary bit, figuring things out.
Yeah, it is like the pieces. I think it's like there's rain, and you put out the buckets, and you just hope that it rains in these buckets, and that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good way to put it, dude. That's actually that's apt. That's apt.
Yeah, because there's only so many buckets you can have out. So that's how I did the TV thing. I was like, I had the TV thing, the buckets out for the TV thing, and if I just spent all my energy on that, that's where the rain was going to fall. But I needed to make this other thing first, build the bucket so that it can fall into this one, and it can happen if you've got a plan. If you don't have a plan, like Zaffa had a plan, like he had 3 months savings. Yeah, he got his community together. There was a strategy. It wasn't just like, I don't know, let's give this a go. You know, that's a bad way to do it.
Yeah. Angel?
Other question is, did you have an alternative plan before becoming a streamer or a YouTuber? So obviously Zaffa was a foreman, but before you went into TV and streaming, all that, Grant, what did you do as a day job?
I was storyboarding as a cartoonist. for content show. Before that, I was studying. So I studied art direction and advertising. So I'm trained to do ad agency work, and then I just couldn't get a job. So I found a studio where they took my drawings, and then they were like, "Cool, let's do this." And that's how I got into TV. I didn't even plan to be in a TV studio. They just happened to be in a TV studio.
How much do you use now that you learned at university?
It's so much. So we did a module on conceptual thinking in first year, and I thought it was so stupid at the time. I've used that the processes that it's like literally they rewire your brain a bit, and I've used that kind of like lateral problem solving through every like thing that I do. Like I'll go like, cool, how do I get investment into this idea? So or I'm doing squeeze backs now on my live stream, which sponsors are paying for, because like I was like, I need to come up with something. I've got to put those buckets out, right? Like where it's going to rain, and I've got to come up with a solution that's not conventional. Because if you go the trotted way, the English, the way everything's the well-worn path, like people don't necessarily invest in that, but they'll invest in a good idea. And if you've got an idea that you believe that's going to work, you can generate money out of that idea. And I've like literally that stuff that I learned at varsity has just been invaluable. Like, and it works with relationships. It works with like moving to another country. Like, how do I solve that? Like, if I want to move to another country, I've got to sit down and strategize. I've got to work out, what does that look like? How am I going to get there? What is the route? What is the normal route? What is the unconventional route? Like, we went to the UK on an unconventional path. Like, yeah, we decided a month before we're going to the UK to work, we don't have visas, and we got in. I landed a month later to start working. But it was just like problem solving.
That sounds just like me.
Month of that.
Yeah, Kez was ready. You know, her visa had come through. She knew that everything was going to happen. Me, I'm sitting there, last minute, dude.
16th of October.
Freaking 16th of October, my visa comes through. Oh, I can now come to the UK. And then it's like, okay, mad rush. My brother buys tickets for the fucking 1st of November to take off from South Africa to come here. I was like, you know what, fuck you, give me time. We're here now, though, so we're happy. So Awani Comics decided to chuck this in also, just chucking it at the SA Geeks for some odd reason. He said, to the SA Geeks, he's loving the background. He says something about that at home and amber lighting looks heavy comfortable.
It does.
It does. You should have like a cup of hot chocolate or something.
Yeah, there should be like a sock on the wall.
Not on purpose, believe me. This lounge is just very dark. But anyway, next question. Grant, tell us about your experience with M-Web's Game Zone.
Oh,
when
wow.
you had normal looking hair.
Yeah, when your hair was like...
M-Web Game Zone was really cool. So when I left Zoopy, and I was just still doing the TV work, there was a really exciting core group of people at M-Web that were just focusing on video games, led by a guy called Desmond Kurz, who was an absolute... People don't know him publicly, but he was an absolute legend in South Africa. It's the reason we have got prioritized Steam downloads on Steam. It's because of him and his team. We had Dota servers, Battlefield servers, all because of that team of guys, the 3 guys at M-Web. I basically got to do like a YouTube like show for M-Web Game Zone and work close to those people. The show was okay. I think it was exciting for what it was, but it was a little bit more like TV on YouTube. And in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it that way. But more than anything, I met some incredible people out of it. And that was actually the biggest takeaway. Like, they were doing cool tournaments. ACGL was basically grassroots grown there, like some of those guys. yeah, they really did build a lot into the gaming scene, and it was a privilege to do stuff with them and be there at that time, you know.
What was Game State?
So Game State was so Game State was the show I did with Zupi. So the one that was competing with YouTube. So that show was kind of like a magazine show with like reviews, like quick 5-minute reviews that you could watch on your phone or whatever, like on a YouTube platform. All the motion graphics were done by the team that did the Revision 3 stuff, like, which was really sick. And then it was on a cover disc of Nag magazine, which was great. Yeah, it was a very cool time, and that's where I learned that digital video is pretty cool. I remember leaving TV and thinking I downgraded a bit, you know, and I was like, wow. And because I started there, the pay was good. The pay was crazy in comparison to like what I was making at the TV show. So like I had a figure in mind, and they like had more than that figure, and I was like, yes, I'm taking the job. But working there for 2 years really made me appreciate. We were doing 4 videos a week of gaming content, like while YouTube was in its infancy, before YouTube had advertising partners, like opened up to the public. Like it was a very cool formative time of me understanding and learning a platform. Like, and I'm very grateful to that team. It's just, you know, like it was just, I got to play on Vodacom's money and learn. I was up till 2. I remember working until 2 a.m. and leaving and putting the alarm in and coming in at 8 o'clock again and getting called into the office and them sculling me out like, we don't ask you to work till 2 a.m. I was like, but the video's so good. Trust me, the video's so good. You know, like I'm so excited. You got to see this. You know, and they were like, please don't do that ever again. You know, like it was a very cool time.
Okay, 2 of you can ask a question.
Go ahead. Choose.
Me? Which question? Well, we can't ask.
There's 2 left.
Right, tell us a bit more about the Haven Night Shelter as well as Home from Home, and how did you get involved with that?
Oh, okay. So Simon Orgel, who's a comedian, he teamed up with ACGL, the African Cyber Gaming League, and he's very community driven. So he's got a lot of like projects he works in the community, and he kind of started the initiative to try and raise money for Home from Home and the Haven Night Shelter, because it was an identified problem. Well, there was an identified need. Like literally Haven Shelter is going to be is packed right now because homeless people can't be on the street. They've got to be in shelters with the lockdown. So they're like over capacity, going, oh snap, we've got to fix this. So yeah, so that's how I got involved. Simon asked me to help out, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like I think we're all just trying to help out where we can. It's like it's a very scary time in history, and we're lucky that we're still able to sit in a chair at a computer and make money without having to leave the house, and that the things that run our like internet is still considered an essential service. We're very lucky. There are a lot of things that have fallen into place for us. So I think it's just about passing that on and going, okay, cool. Some people aren't lucky. They don't have homes. They don't have families. They don't have food coming in the next day. How can I turn this little space of privilege into a place to like help a little bit, even though it's not like crazy amounts. It's like a couple of grand here and there from the audience, but like it goes a long way in a shelter, you know? So, and I think if the whole country is doing it, we're all standing and helping out, like it's worth it.
I've got a side question quickly, a very quick fire answer, a rapid answer. How did you receive the news of Rebel Tech?
Very bad. Well, I was very sad. I know Rune and the team, and it's a very unfortunate situation, and it's not good for South Africans because we need competition anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not good to see like one of the bigger players fall down. And I think they did the right thing though, like given their circumstances though. I had a chat with them and
there's only so much you can do. And for companies like EveTech and those people, do you think they're going to still be able to stick around for a bit? Is this going to affect them similarly?
No. I think there was a very unique situation at Rebel Tech. I don't know if it's public, but it was just a very unfortunate series of events that led to them closing. They should be open, but some stuff happened on the business side of things that they couldn't have predicted. That was really sad. But like Wootware and Eve Tech, they should still be going. Remember, people are still buying hardware, and now it's still considered now at level 4 you can buy pretty much anything from Rebel Tech and from Eve Tech and from Wootware and everybody. So I don't think it's not indicative of the industry at any. People are spending more money on gaming stuff because that's what they're doing at home.
Yeah. And then instead of doing 10, what are the top 5 experiences? If you were to create a highlight reel of your life, what are the top 5 experiences or achievements that would make the cut, and why?
Wow, that's a very hard quick-fire question.
It was 10. It's 5 now. So
give me a break.
Accepting that game review was probably number 1. I'm at the studio, meeting up with Casper. Also another one of those, just really changed the course of my life. I've produced videos with The Rock and Zac Efron and Will Ferrell and literally directing them. I never thought I would ever be able to do that one day. Steve Carell, all those guys. And then the decision to go up to the UK for a year, although it was very traumatizing, it was a very growing time for me. And I think I needed that. The decision to go full-time live streaming, and I suppose giving up my faith would be one of those big moments too.
Giving up your faith?
Yeah.
You'll have to go more in depth in that one.
I was very, very strong Orthodox, born-again Christian until I was about 27, 28.
Okay, and what? Okay, this is from my side. What inspired you to actually start?
I had some questions that people couldn't answer, and I wasn't even talking about I was a Sunday school teacher. I was a young adults teacher. I was a cell group leader. I had fundamental questions about doctrine, especially in Romans, about the nature of God, God self-proclaiming himself to be good. And what does goodness look like? Is it an objective understanding of goodness? Is God still good if he is omnipotent and all-knowing and still sends everybody to hell, even though it's their decision, but he is predetermining people to come into union with him, so he could literally choose who gets saved or not. So why, if he's voluntarily allowing trillions of people to burn in hell, is that a good person? If I change God's name to Bob, would we say Bob's cool? Those were questions I had. I actually went to, I asked my pastor, he couldn't answer questions, went to another church, went to literally a Bible college. And I sat with some of the professors and they were like, you just got to have faith. And I was just like, whoo, that's a problem. We're having faith in a self-proclaimed God that says that he's just, but we have a definition of just. And he's not fitting our definition of just. Unless justice doesn't look like the way we think it looks like, which is entirely possible. But then maybe goodness doesn't look like that. Either. And then that opens up a whole nother can of worms. I think a lot of those things are objective understandings.
Let's close that can of worms.
Yes,
right there.
We should have closed it before we even
right
opened
there. Before we go deeper into it. With all due respect, though, it is literally one of the 3 things you don't talk about in general.
Politics and sex.
Yeah. What countries would you like to visit, Grant?
I would love to visit the East. I've been fortunate enough to visit the States quite a lot. I generally go every year. This year I won't be going, probably. And then I've been to the UK. I've been to a lot of Europe. I haven't been to Italy or I don't want to go to Italy now, do I?
No, don't.
But I would I think I really want to go to Japan and I really want to go to China, and I really want to go to like Thailand, and also like I haven't experienced like Africa. I think we like, after coming back from the UK, I was like, we literally have a passport that can take us throughout the whole continent, and we don't think about going. And there's like Zanzibar. Yeah, we all think that our little slice of African existence is Africa, but there's literally Tanzania, there's like Botswana, there's like there's a missed opportunity of like adventure. You know,
Ooh, you are missing if you haven't seen Botswana, dude. You're missing out.
I've heard incredible things about Botswana, and I was like, yo, like, and all I know is like, really,
yeah, dude, you have no idea, dude. That country is unbelievable, freaking believable.
Yeah, you know, I must make a plan. And Mozambique, I haven't been to Mozambique. I hear like incredible things about Mozambique.
Mozambique is nice.
Yeah, and like,
if you go to the touristy places, but if you go to like the cities and stuff, it's not that great.
But again, like you go to the touristy places in Mozambique, it's an experience. It's a unique experience. But if you go to the touristy places in like Europe, it's like McDonald's with different logos. Like it's literally. I don't know. I don't know what the appeal is in traveling in a first world country as a tourist anymore, because we have like a relatively first world experience. It's also my experience of going there for work all the time has kind of like killed it. But it's not. It's a place to live. It's not a place to like visit. Whereas I think there's adventure here. There's like, oh wow, I can have stories going through Africa or going through Thailand that will change my outlook on life. Versus like, I don't know, it was nice to try a vegan burger at Cologne McDonald's. It's nice.
Although, I have to admit, you guys need to come to Scotland for one reason. The people here, they do not know about the South African War or the Boer War. You guys
actually, Scotland partook in the Boer War.
Yes, I know. That's what's so funny about it. They don't fucking know about it, bro.
Didn't they lose? That's why they don't know about it.
Glasgow. There are fucking statues everywhere about the soldiers that lost their lives during the South African War. They call it here the South African War.
That makes sense.
It's called the Boer War, but they call it the South African War, okay? And what's really funny is you speak to a Scot about it, they're like, what's that? I've never heard of that before. It's kind of embarrassing. They funded it. They actually fought alongside the Boers during the Boer War. It's like, guys, come on! You fought with the Boers. How did you not know this?
I know one of the stories, and I actually saw this in the Free Museum in England, in London, where they showed like a sort of a cannon that the British invented. Yeah. And what happened was one of the people from South Africa went to Britain, got 7 of those cannons, came back to South Africa and shot the living shit out of the British with those cannons.
It's kind of what they did to the rest of the world. So like, we'll give it. They should give it to us.
Just so you know, my family was part of the whole Scottish rebellion against the British in South Africa.
Oh.
So, makes me feel fucking great living in Scotland at the moment.
Yeah, we almost got to wrap this up, eh?
Indeed.
What are your thoughts on the 3 big players, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, and Markiplier? And is there anything you can learn from them?
What's also for you?
Yeah, what do you think, Zaf?
PewDiePie paved the way. He's got a unique way of approaching things. He's got his set ways. If you try and, like they say, copying is the biggest, imitation is the biggest form of flattery. But the funny thing is, when I started streaming, and I got accused of this quite a lot, even though I never did it. They were like, oh, he's trying to be PewDiePie. I'm like, nothing in my streams that I do is like PewDiePie. I'm my own unique individual. But I got flagged like that. But for me personally, I don't know. PewDiePie's he's got his market. I mean, what can we learn from him? Learn to make a fool of yourself. I think from all three of them, we can learn that one thing.
Yeah.
Make a fool of yourself and be comfortable in making a fool of yourself. Yeah. I mean, that one thing that Markiplier did with the cats, it was just a funny thing.
Yeah.
Please tell me you saw that.
No.
I didn't.
Basically, it's a bunch of cats walking around, and then all of a sudden, you just see Markiplier's mouth photoshopped into them and go, meow, 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 meow. And it was freaking, I'm sitting there going, that's genius. That's genius, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But Grant, here's the thing. With the same question being asked to you, I'm pretty sure quite a few people would actually consider you like the ninja of South Africa, because you do the whole Fortnite and all that stuff. So adding on to that question, how do you feel compared with Ninja?
Yeah, people think I'm Ninja because I dye my hair. That's like it's the same. It's like they look at Zaffa and they go like, oh, he's like PewDiePie because he's just having fun playing video games, and that's the only like bridge that they can build in their heads. Those are the two like touchstones that they've got like psychologically. And the same thing with that. Oh, who's this guy here with the hair, with pink hair, bro? And look, I've had pink hair for years, and then Ninja had pink hair for like a month, and people came into my stream and they were like, "Yeah, so you're trying to copy?" And I was like,
"No,
Zen."
No.
Need to just be Zen. But yeah, I think you learn a lot from all these people have like found a way to communicate. I've been fortunate enough to meet Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. I haven't met PewDiePie, but I've met the two of them, and they like are really great guys. But they also treat this a lot like Zaffa does. Like, this is a business. This is a platform. They sit down and they work out what works, what doesn't work. They pitch up every single day like it's a job. It's not like these guys are just like messing around, you know. And I think a lot of people look at us and they go like, oh, these guys are just messing around. They don't have like real jobs or whatever. But it's literally, we're entertainers. The entertainment industry is as old as there was like jesters in like kings like palaces, and we're these people now. This is a new medium. And like, and we need to work out where we fit into that. Whether you're a comedian, whether you're a professional performer, like a sports player, whether you are a motivational speaker. It's all the entertainment industry, right? And we serve an audience, and they will reverse engineer what they're doing, you know. And it's, you know, it's really important that like we also do the same thing. We learn from that, and we treat it as work. A lot of kids want to do this because they think it's cool. You see, look, he's learned already.
His channeling is inner Grant.
Zaffa, you are such a dick, dude.
Someone to do it.
Sorry, it's not Zaffa. It's not Zaffa anymore. Now it's Jan Afrika.
It's Big Grant.
It's Sarl Hinds.
Sarl Hinds, eh?
Sarl Hinds.
Yes. Try and say that a couple of times fast. Sorry, I had to do it because someone's like, hey, we need you with Grant's hair. I'm like, fucking hell. I did it earlier, but I'll do it again.
Gotta do it for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, you just gotta, and instead of judging people, like one of my biggest takeaways for new content actually is reality TV. And people hate reality TV. That's so easy to judge, but there are geniuses at creating narratives out of things that aren't necessarily happening. And it's kind of what we do all the time when we are playing a video game and a story. We tell us, like, people watch us over a period of time, and they get like, we're telling a story about our lives and about the games that we're playing. If you're doing a let's play, that like Jacksepticeye is really good at this. He will, and Markiplier, actually, they'll take a narrative of the game that they're playing and then make a quick story that's 10, 15 minutes long from like a 3-hour recording. The people that do that really well are reality TV show producers. So when reality TV started with like Big Brother, I remember people picketed in the streets against Big Brother and Survivor. And it was crazy. I remember hearing about Survivor and thinking they're really killing people, like on TV to like, do you remember? I was like, oh wait, they're doing that? Until you watch it and you're kind of like a little bit disappointed that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But like,
no, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. There was a show actually that made a joke about reality TV called Joe Schmo. So what happened was they got a guy on a Bachelor-like show. Everybody in the show was actors except this one guy. So they tried to like push him to his limits and everything. And one of the actors was actually a South African woman.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, and they were talking around him, and at like 7 or 8 episodes in, someone accidentally let slip something, but he didn't pick up on that. And they wanted to go for 20 episodes. By about episode 12 or 13, the actors playing this prank on this Joe Schmo guy really got like, oh shit, we can't do this anymore. So they had to cancel the show prematurely and tell him that he was actually part of this big grand scheme of things. And he actually handled it quite well. You know, he's like, oh, okay, cool, that's cool. When do I get my money?
Exactly. That's why I came to this casting call. Because I want money. I want to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I really admire. I try to watch as much reality TV as I can, purely because, like, I think there's a lot to be learnt. There's a lot of it's like what we do. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that we don't see. That is genius, and that I literally can sit with a notebook. I was watching like America's Next Top Model, like how they edit that show for viewer retention is just like, we should be copying that stuff for YouTube. Why is no one editing like this? And it's like, these guys are like the best in the world, but we're too good. We're too good to look at that because we're so judgmental of other kinds of content, or the Kim Kardashians or whatever. We should be sitting down and reverse engineering what. There's a reason the Kardashians are so well viewed. Like, there's a reason they've got so much attention. You might not like it, or you might not like understand it off the bat, but when you sit down and get scientific about entertainment, you'll learn a lot about like what keeps people watching your stuff. And those are tricks that we need to learn for new media, because the biggest cash cow is viewer retention. And it like, how can we keep that viewer retention on our live streams? Like when we go through our analytics, like what's our drop-off rate? How do we keep people watching for 6 hours? Like, and we've got to borrow from the best people in the world. And sometimes those people are like PewDiePie or Markiplier or the Kardashians or whatever, but there's literally like a science to what's happening there. There's a reason they're good at what they're doing. There's a reason those shows are like, I was watching, there's a show called on Netflix now. It's called Too Hot to Handle. Like utter genius. Like I was sitting there going, this show is utter, it's literally about a household full of like the casting producer must have got like the horniest people in the world. It's like young, hot, horny people, and they can't do anything. And the best part of it is that there's a pool of money, and if they like sleep with each other, or if they kiss each other or hold hands or whatever, then that pool of money starts to decrease. So you get like, it's such a genius idea. You're like, why didn't I think of that? And it's literally like one guy's like, this one guy, he's like, shame, he's my man. He's like the accountant nearly, because he's going like, you guys better not have fucking done anything last night. And they put all these like road like speed bumps in their way. It's like, you two are going to be spending the night together alone in this room. And the guy's like, you better like not do anything, because I'm going to fucking like, that's my money that you like, you know? And you just like, and the person who does that really well on new media is Joe Sugg. So I've been building his streams, and he's a friend of mine. He's on 8 million subscribers now. I wonder how many he's on now. He's got a gaming his gaming channel is on 1.7 million subs, and his stuff is genius. He's doing a Corona series in The Sims, like a lockdown series. Just the idea. Dude, what a great, like, simple, you can just write it down on a piece of paper. And it's he competed in Strictly Come Dancing with his girlfriend in the UK, and like so they do a lot of like building a dream house together, because he knows that her audience will pull through to this, and he knows like he takes these. Today he's doing he's building the Millennium Falcon in Lego on his live stream because it's May the 4th. Like just conceptual ideas that are like, he's looking at it from an entertainment perspective, not like the one streamer I watch, Bainlish. When this came out, he's like, okay, cool, we're gonna start something called CoronaCon 2020. And what he does is he literally looks
at cheap indie games that his viewers can play, and he like streams them for like 2 or 3 hours or for entire streams. And if there's bugs, he'll contact the developers like, listen, there's a couple of bugs here. I'm going to not stream your game for a couple of days. Please try and fix it. I'm going to switch over to another indie game that's cheap to get and that my viewers can enjoy. And he usually spends like his first 45 minutes or so, he'll just sit and just chatting. And when he finishes his streams, he's just chatting again, you know,
and telling people like selling the game to the audience, and the game developers are hyped as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's his thing. He's trying to create positivity in these times by doing CoronaCon. He's made it a convention, basically.
So smart. It's so smart.
Yeah.
Like those conceptual things like really get me going. And those like if you're in on it, like if you go like if you take Too Hot to Handle, or like Joe Exotic, this Tiger King thing, like how do you incorporate that into your stream that's interesting and relevant and will get people to come through and watch? And how did they film that show? And is there something you can borrow from the way that they produce that? Like, there's a lot to I always believe you can, and there will always be people better than you. They're always like, I always believe that I'm bottom of the rung, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people that are better, and I can like literally, there's like a tree. If I'm willing to look up and look at what other people are doing, there's literally like I can take all of this fruit from everybody that's making cool stuff and make it my own.
Yeah.
Why am I gonna get Tiger King into my stream now?
I'm thinking the same thing. Like I could potentially do the handlebars part of it.
What about that plush tiger?
Face rig. Use face rig to create a tiger that talks.
Actual tiger.
As the experience as like one of the show tigers, like that motherfucker.
and the show and the tiger Baskin knows that like. Knows that Carol Baskin's innocent or something. Yeah. He's like, shut the fuck up! Don't tell me. Like I'm gonna get out of prison. Or you're streaming from prison.
Yeah. I've got unfortunately. Yeah. Go ahead.
So unfortunately, what?
I kind of need to go soon.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we're ending off. So we got a question for ourselves. Enough. We'll ask the question.
I think Tunes can ask.
Tunes can ask it though. So
no, he can answer it as well.
All right.
It's from Awali. He asked, and it's your podcast too, Tunes. That's why I said you can answer.
Yeah,
it.
That's true.
Do you think that you've learned anything from sitting with Zappa and Grant and some other guests that we've had?
Oh yeah, for sure.
From the SA. Sorry.
For sure, we learn something every week. You got different people doing different things in the geek sphere, and it's all about passion and pushing through. But doing things that you just love just makes it easier. Because like work is hard. Work is work. But if you manage to grab onto something that you really enjoy doing it makes that work a bit easier. So I just like seeing people do the work that they enjoy doing, and not feel like stuck in any way or feel like they're going backwards in life. So that's why it's really interesting to talk to these people who excel at doing what they're doing, because it's fun, it's cool.
Yeah. Well,
as a scientist.
I suppose it's the same thing from Kez on my side.
You guys are like two of our idols that I look up to. So
yeah, to be honest,
especially to have you guys on the podcast is it's a really cool thing.
I think together,
as
well, having Grant and Zaffa live on the stream.
It was
unprecedented.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Okay,
guys, I'm coming blood, guys.
See, we can never have moments like that unless we do a weird podcast like this and have people talk about their day and weird stories.
Look, we'd love to learn from you guys.
I just want to say
it's not just Grant and Zaffa, but every one of the guys that we've actually had on stream, each one has taught us something different. For example, I don't speak as much during streams.
Well, no, you do, but it's not I and me and
it's not the SA Geeks anymore. It's now about our guests more than anything else. So, you learn as you go along about what, each streamer gives you the ideas of what you should and should not do during streams. So, it helps to grow and helps to make you a better streamer and a better interviewer as well.
We also always go, most of the time, Zaffa knows, if there's something I'm unsure of, I go to him for it. So
yes, Kes always goes to Zaffa for advice. Grant, we go to you for like gaming advice because
I also don't want to bug you too much.
Yeah, but you're so damn busy, dude. You never know when to actually ask you.
If I can voice note, that's what then that's quick. I like doing that. But like, it's just from my side, it's a real honor to be here with you guys. You guys are also OGs, in many ways, and and Zaffa as well. When I entered Twitch, like Zaffa hit me up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcomed me with open arms. Coming from YouTube into the new space, and I've learned a lot from him as well. His streams are incredibly entertaining, and he knows what he's doing. And he's paved the way for many people as well. So it's a real privilege to be here with him.
Wow, I'm blushing on my balls right now.
Well,
Streamer's gone.
I'm not coming blood though, but I'm blushing.
Please don't do that.
For me tonight, you know what? I've learned a couple of things from you, especially tonight, Grant. Like looking at shows. I never looked at shows that way. I watched the show and I'm like, okay, cool, continue. I never thought about incorporating some of those aspects into my stream or figuring out how it works. From the SA Geeks, sorry, Tunes, I don't know you long enough to say nice things about you, but you look like an awesome guy.
I'm a solid dude.
Give it a few more months and I'll say something nice about you.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I learned from the SA Geeks, and this coming from, again, my sordid history with the esports community in South Africa, is it wasn't as bleak as I thought it was. And it was like literally just give everybody a chance. And that is what they taught me. I mean, my first ever rage experience was the worst thing ever. And I never wanted to go to... Sorry?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And I never wanted to do anything like that again. And then they were like, hey, Comic-Con is coming up. Maybe you want to join. Was it Comic-Con, the first one? Yeah, the first one was Comic-Con that I slept over you with
No,
it was Gaming Forum. No, it was Comic-Con Gaming Forum.
So you stayed with us for Comic-Con.
Yeah, you stayed at our place for Comic-Con.
And they showed me like a whole different side of the industry that I didn't think exist, And you also eventually fell into that in that random one Saturday that we met at, what's that Geek Shop's place, the thing called? It was right around the time when they did the FBB regulations and we were all freaking out.
Oh, snap.
It was the
Nexus Hub. Nexus Hub.
Grant was at the Nexus at that time, yeah.
Yeah, and we quickly chatted and I'm like, you know what? The South African gaming scene ain't that bad. It was just a preconceived notion that I had and they helped destroy that.
There are bad apples. And you know where all the bad apples stem from? People that want to own it. Like somehow this thing is theirs. You know who owns video games? Every single person. Yeah. Every single person who plays a fucking video game owns video games. Like I have no monopoly over your experience playing Final Fantasy when you were like 10 years old and like you had like it's fucking wild that people think that they own the industry. Like and no one does. Like we just all here having a good time, and that's why if we want South Africa to be the hub of like lots of really exciting gamings, we just got to keep the doors open for everybody. It's like, hey, and the more people that succeed, the better it is for everybody because everyone's going to pull each other up. Hopefully,
like Hopefully,
there will be a few dicks that think that they own the whole thing and that everybody owes them a favor. That's gonna happen, 100%. But like, you take that risk as long as my conscience is clear, helping people as best I can. That's all that matters.
Yeah. No, okay. Tunes, do you reckon the last question is relevant, or should we just like move on to outros? Wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Zaffa needs to go.
Right, cool. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up, guys. It's been freaking epic, Grant.
Thank you.
Where do we find you? We're gonna plug your channel. Plug it for us. Where do we find you?
Just my name on YouTube, on Twitch, and YouTube.
Okay, Kez is gonna pop into the chats because, well, no. If any of our viewers are watching, it's Grant Hinds, Hinds, on all the social media. You'll find him there. That's the best way to find him. He's everywhere. Trust me, everywhere.
And on TikTok.
Except no,
he is.
TikTok.
I said
even
he.
TikTok.
I want you on TikTok so bad. I'm gonna see the best TikToks coming from you, my bro.
No baby, later.
Oh God. Okay, wait. Let me make a note. TikTok.
Where do we find you, bro?
Not TokTik.
Hi, not TokTik. Hi, my name is ZaffaGeek. Zaffa_geek. Almost everywhere. The underscore was there because Twitch didn't like the middle 3 letters of my name. Everywhere else, it's without the underscore. I'm a variety streamer obviously from South Africa. And after this, we are going to hit up Raft in Afrikaans with my author friend and his fiancée. And thank you again for having me, SA Geeks, Mr. Tunes, and Grant Hinds. Amazing to have you here. Looking forward to. We should do something together at some point.
We must.
Like something you force like an eggplant down my throat or something, you know.
I think
when this lockdown is over, I'm gonna come to Bloom and we're gonna do like a tour of all the vegan food. Or vlog it
of the 6 best vegan places in my hometown.
You need to have a vegan bride.
There's 10, but there's only 6 that's good.
Yeah, no, I can imagine the other 4, like some tunny who's like, and you're like, oh. Geez.
Hey, but chicken is also. I'm a vegetarian, Tunny. Okay, have some chicken.
Chicken is also a vegetable, eh?
Yeah.
But the chicken's vegan, bro.
Yeah.
It was a privilege, guys. Honestly, guys, this is an absolute privilege, and I'm like really honored to be here with you guys. It really does.
Really fun to have you guys on.
Thank you for tolerating my posters. That's all I could say. So I pester people, and I'm sorry, but thank you.
No, it's good. I need that. Okay, let's Zaffa, you go do your stream, man.
Yeah, it makes the SA
Geeks, do it.
The SA Geeks. We wouldn't be that if it wasn't for Kez being her usual self, to be honest. But anyway, we got to carry on here. Tunes, where do we find you, bro?
Oh, you can find me at Geekoscopy all over the internets. At some point, I'll be releasing videos and things, but right now, we're just doing the podcast. Hey?
I love when you say that, dude, because it's like, you'll find me all over the internet at some point.
At some point, yeah. As soon as I stop writing science papers and start making videos, that's when you'll start finding me. But right now, the fishies need me. But yeah, at Geekoscopy, at all the interesting and useful social medias, not on Dig or MSN or Yahoo or any place like that, but you'll find me in other more useful places at Geekoscopy.
Yeah. Right, and as you guys know, we are the SA Geeks. Kez is obviously busy sorting out the stream at the moment, so she's going to be moving over to a new spot. She's also going to be posting, or not posting, she's also going to be sending all of you lovely viewers over to Lady and Machine at the Otter Den. You'll be watching them now. They rock. Just enjoy their stream. But until then, guys, you can follow us here on Twitch. We're all over the place. YouTube, TikTok, we are there, so you can follow us there. We might do something with Grant at some point as well. We don't know yet. Depends on him. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for following us. It's been real. Thanks for joining us, guys. We do appreciate it. You both
Grant
know that.
And Zaffa.
Thank you, guys.
And,
thank you, guys.
And as always, remember, get the geeky!